Chapter 44. This time, Lin Shan had broken through to the 4th level of the Grandmaster realm after coming out of seclusion. He thought that the gap between him and Nangong Xian had widened. However, he did not expect that Nangong Xian, who was only at the 2nd level of the Grandmaster realm, would be able to tie with him and even show signs of suppressing him. Although the battle between the two of them was more of a test and not a battle of life and death, Lin Shan could not guarantee that Nangong Xian did not have a powerful trump card. This time, Nangong Xian's combat strength had improved by leaps and bounds, which shocked and angered Lin Shan. It was slightly out of his control. After all, in the Grandmaster realm, the gap between each level was huge, and every level was a small bottleneck. Logically speaking, Lin Shan, who was at the 4th level of the Grandmaster realm, should be able to suppress Nangong Xian, who was at the 2nd level of the Grandmaster realm. However, the result was unexpected. Masters Junior Lin, thank you for letting me win. In that case, can you calm down for now? Don't worry, I'll definitely punish Ling Xiao and give you an explanation. Nangong Xian smiled and heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. He was a little excited to be able to tie with Lin Shan. It seemed that the Longevity Supreme Scripture was indeed a supreme-level technique. He had only comprehended it for a few days, but he had already achieved such amazing results. Let him go. How is that possible? However, Lin Shan's answer was beyond Nangong Xian's expectations. Lin Shan sneered and said, "Sect Master, I admit that your cultivation is good, but Hao Yu is my only grandson. This hatred is irreconcilable. I swear I won't stop until I kill Ling Xiao. However, for the sect master's sake, I won't kill him now. However, I'll call for an Elders Adjudication Conference to judge him." Elders Adjudication Conference? Nangong Xian's expression changed and became a little ugly. This Elder Adjudication Conference was a matter that concerned the life and death of the Longevity sect. For example, if an important person in the sect committed a heinous crime, or if there was no way to convict someone of a crime, the Elder Adjudication Conference would be held, and the elders of the sect would be the judge. However, the Elders Adjudication Conference was terrifying. Historically, those who were judged by the Elders Adjudication Conference all had miserable endings. Among them were 2 sect leaders, 3 holy sons, and dozens of sect elders and true disciples. Even if the sect leader had committed a grave crime, the Elders Adjudication Council had the right to judge him. The sect leader and grand elder had the right to initiate an elder ruling conference. It could be said that as long as Ling Xiao went to the Elder Adjudication Council, he would definitely die. I don't agree. Junior Master Ling Xiao did not commit any heinous crimes. Why are you being so overbearing? Ling Xiao is a rare genius that only appears once every 10,000 years in our Changsun sect. He is also the hope for our Changsun sect to rise again. I don't agree to calling for an elders meeting. Nangong Xian said coldly. His eyes turned sharp. He never imagined that this Lin Shan actually disregarded the rise and fall of the sect and wholeheartedly wanted to put Ling Xiao to death. To entrust the rise of the Longevity sect to such an ant-like little bastard, what a joke. You don't have the final say in convening the elders' meeting. I advise you not to let Ling Xiao escape. Otherwise, I don't mind killing him with my own hands. Lin Shan sneered, flicked his sleeves, and left the valley. Nangong Xian's face turned extremely ugly. This was the tragedy of the Changsun sect. They only knew how to be unreasonable. As the sect leader, he was also very incompetent. The appearance of a grand elder who could threaten the sect leader was definitely not a good thing. But what should he do now? Could he just watch as Ling Xiao was judged by the Elders Adjudication Council? With Lin Shan's prestige, he was even more prestigious than Nangong Xian. If he spoke, most of the elders would probably support him. In other words, Ling Xiao would definitely die. Dang! 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 The crisp sound of the bell rang, filling the entire Changsun mountain. The sound of the bell was simple and heavy, giving off a lingering charm. It also had an indescribable majesty, causing many of the Changsun sect's disciples to tremble. Their eyes were filled with shock. The bell chimed exactly 9 times. The Changsun bell rang 9 times. Is this the legendary bell that only rings during the Elders' Adjudication Council? Oh no, looks like something big is going to happen in the sect. A disciple cried out in surprise, his eyes filled with shock. That's right. The Changsun bell rang 9 times. According to the sect's records, it only rings during the Elders' Adjudication Council. However, the Elders' Adjudication Council hasn't been held for hundreds of years. Why would it be held today? Who are they trying to judge? The Holy Sun, it must be the Holy Sun. That's right. Today, Grand Elder Lin Shan came out of seclusion. Ling Xiao killed senior brother Lin. It would be strange if Grand Elder Lin Shan didn't go crazy. However, Grand Elder Lin Shan didn't kill Ling Xiao directly. Instead, he called for the Elders' Adjudication Council. How strange. What's so strange about it? Once he enters the Elders' Adjudication Council, Ling Xiao will definitely die. This also shows that Grand Elder Lin Shan isn't taking revenge. This is called killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Poor Ling Xiao. I'm afraid he's the one who has been the Holy Sun for the shortest time in the history of our Changsun sect. Many of the disciples were discussing. Some were gloating, some were sympathetic, and some were indifferent. Everyone had different thoughts. However, without exception, they all headed towards the Changsun Plaza at the peak of the Changsun Mountain. This was a rare occasion in 100 years. Naturally, many disciples wanted to join in the fun. At the same time, 2 uninvited guests appeared in Jin's pavilion. Ling Xiao, get out here. A cold voice came from a handsome young man. He had a long sword on his back and was wearing a white robe. However, his face was cold. His cultivation was at the 7th level of the spirit transformation realm. The other person was a pretty girl. She had a graceful figure and jade-like skin. Her cultivation was at the 6th level of the spirit transformation realm. However, she held her head high and her face was full of arrogance. The 2 of them appeared in the Jin's pavilion. Looking at the dilapidated pavilion in front of them, a cold sneer appeared in their eyes. Who dares to behave so atrociously in the Holy Sun's residence? A loud shout came. Lu Chuanxiong and Gu Zhong rushed out of Jin's pavilion. Their faces were full of vigilance. Get Ling Xiao out here. Otherwise, if the time is delayed, all of you will die. The handsome young man looked at Lu Chuanxiong and Gu Zhong with disdain and sneered. A mere true energy realm cultivator was nothing but an ant in his eyes. It's senior brother Qi and senior sister Lu. Lu Chuanxiong's expression changed. He recognized the 2 people in front of him. The handsome young man was called Qi Yuanhua and the pretty girl was called LV Lishan. They were both direct disciples. Moreover, they had another identity. They were the disciples of Grand Elder Lin Shan. Normally, the 2 of them were arrogant people. This time, they were here to capture Ling Xiao and bring him to the Elders' Adjudication Council. Chapter 45. Although Lu Chuanxiong knew their identities, he was already one of Ling Xiao's men. How could he tolerate them insulting Ling Xiao? Senior brother Qi, senior sister Lu. The Holy Sun is cultivating in seclusion. If you have anything to say, just tell me. I'll pass on the message. Lu Chuanxiong said indifferently as he stood in front of Qi Yuanhua and LV Lishan. That's right. You can't go in. Gu Zhong said in a muffled voice. How dare you? Qi Yuanhua's eyes turned cold. He didn't expect these 2 insignificant inner disciples to dare to stop him. One had to know that with their status, they would be surrounded wherever they went in the Changsun sect. Who would dare to not listen to them? Get out of my way. How arrogant was Qi Yuanhua? He wasn't willing to explain to Lu Chuanxiong and Gu Zhong. Seeing that the 2 of them didn't know what was good for them, he directly attacked. Boom! Qi Yuanhua's palm shot out. The surrounding wind and clouds seemed to have merged into his palm as it shot towards Lu Chuanxiong and Gu Zhong. Wind cloud palm. Lu Chuanxiong's expression changed. He recognized that this was a profound-level peerless martial art. Under the support of Qi Yuanhua's spirit transformation realm cultivation, it exploded with an extremely powerful force. Clang! Lu Chuanxiong didn't dare to be careless. He instantly pulled out a heavy sword from his back and condensed Xiantian true qi around him. Rays of sword light gathered together and slashed across the sky. The aura of this sword was extraordinary. The sword light shrouded the void and actually carried an aura that could lift the sky and destroy the stars. This was the great sky sword art that Ling Xiao had passed on to him. Although Lu Chuanxiong had only comprehended a little, it was still countless times stronger than the iron sword art that he had cultivated before. Boom! The wind and clouds condensed by Qi Yuanhua were actually scattered by Lu Chuanxiong's sword. The aura emitted by the heavy sword made Qi Yuanhua somewhat fearful. Bang! However, Qi Yuanhua was still at the 7th level of the spirit transformation realm. There was a huge gap between him and Lu Chuanxiong. The powerful force of the wind cloud palm finally shattered the countless rays of sword light and ruthlessly slapped on the heavy sword. A huge force attacked, causing Lu Chuanxiong to retreat a dozen steps. To be able to withstand my palm strike, what kind of sword technique is this? Qi Yuanhua's eyes revealed a trace of surprise. Although he didn't know what kind of martial arts Lu Chuanxiong practiced, he still had a bit of insight. Just from this exchange, he felt that this sword technique was extraordinary. Even the 7 stars transform moon sword could not compare to the energy waves that supported the heavens and destroyed the stars. It must be an earth-grade martial art. It might even be a middle-grade earth-grade martial art. Qi Yuanhua's eyes suddenly revealed a look of greed. If he could obtain this martial art, he would be able to move unhindered in the world. Where could he not go? Although these thoughts were running through his mind, Qi Yuanhua's expression was righteous as he shouted, "How dare you? You actually dared to attack senior brother. Looks like senior brother will have to teach you a lesson today." Murderous intent flashed in Qi Yuanhua's eyes. He had already decided to kidnap this Lu Chuanxiong first, and then slowly interrogate him about martial arts. Rumble. Qi Yuanhua went all out. The wind and clouds surged, and the majestic innate true qi spread out. The sky was filled with huge palm shadows, slamming down on Lu Chuanxiong. Lu Chuanxiong only resisted a few moves and soon fell into a disadvantageous position. After all, his cultivation was still a bit too weak. Boom! In the end, Qi Yuanhua's palms landed on Lu Chuanxiong's body, and directly sent him flying back while vomiting blood. Big brother! Gu Zhong shouted and hurriedly ran over to help Lu Chuanxiong up. His eyes were full of hatred as he looked at Qi Yuanhua. "I'll fight it out with you!" Gu Zhong roared. Blood qi surged all over his body, and his muscles bulged. A crazy demonic aura spread out. He leaped into the air like a demonic bull and punched out forcefully with an indomitable will, heading straight for Qi Yuanhua. "Gu Zhong, come back quickly!" Lu Chuanxiong ignored the blood in his mouth and shouted anxiously. Even he was not a match for Qi Yuanhua. What was the use of Gu Zhong? Moreover, seeing Qi Yuanhua's ruthless attack, Lu Chuanxiong was even more worried for Gu Zhong. "You're courting death." Qi Yuanhua's eyes flashed and sent out a wind cloud palm. His spirit transformation realm cultivation erupted and directly sent Gu Zhong flying into the bamboo forest in the distance. It was unknown whether Gu Zhong was dead or alive. This fight had also awakened Ling Xiao, who was meditating. When he sensed the situation outside, his eyes became incomparably cold. "You dare to behave atrociously in the Jin's pavilion? You really have guts." Ling Xiao shouted and flew out of the Jin's pavilion. When he saw Qi Yuanhua, he immediately threw out a punch. Ling Xiao. Qi Yuanhua's expression changed when he saw Ling Xiao appear. He knew that this was not good. This was a fiend who could kill Lin Haoyu. Thinking of this, his heart weakened a bit. However, he had no choice but to block Ling Xiao's attack. The wind cloud palm erupted. Boom! When the fist and palm collided, Qi Yuanhua immediately knew that he was wrong. An incomparably vigorous tremendous force directly shattered Qi Yuanhua's genuine Qi defense and brazenly blasted into his body. The force of the fist was vast and strong. It carried a trace of the Vajra-subduing demon aura and instantly sent Qi Yuanhua flying. Kacha! With a slight sound, Qi Yuanhua's arm was instantly broken. Intense pain assaulted him. Qi Yuanhua couldn't help but cry out miserably and fiercely hit the ground. Crippling one of your arms is a small punishment. If you dare to behave atrociously in my Jin's pavilion again, I'll kill you without mercy. Ling Xiao said with a cold expression. He didn't expect that after killing Lin Haoyu, there would still be people who dared to come here to court death. However, he vaguely guessed that these two people were probably Lin Shan's subordinates. Ling Xiao, you're too presumptuous. LV Lishan, who was at the side, couldn't stand it anymore. She jumped out and pointed at Ling Xiao. We're under the orders of the Supreme Elder to take you to the Elder's adjudication meeting. How dare you injure senior brother Qi? Are you trying to rebel? Elder's adjudication meeting. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. At this moment, 9 melodious bell sounds rang, shaking the entire Changsun sect. That's right. Ling Xiao, you've committed a heinous crime by killing senior brother Lin. The Supreme Elder has called for the Elder's adjudication meeting to punish you. Why don't you surrender now? Otherwise, you'll die without a doubt. Qi Yuanhua stood up with a pale face. He held one of his arms and looked at Ling Xiao with eyes full of resentment. Noisy. Ling Xiao's expression turned cold. Another slap was sent out. Smack. The speed of this slap was as fast as lightning. Qi Yuanhua didn't even have time to react. He was instantly sent flying with a scream. Saint, you can't go. In the history of Changsun sect, those who were judged by the Elder's adjudication meeting all had extremely miserable endings. Hurry up and run, the further the better. Chapter 46. Lu Chuanxiong and Gu Zhong's expressions were solemn. Obviously, they knew how terrifying the Elder adjudication meeting was. Trying to escape. Ling Xiao, if you dare to escape, you will die without a burial ground. I advise you to follow us obediently so that you won't suffer any physical pain. LV Lishan shouted at Ling Xiao. Although she had the support of Lin Shan, it was inevitable that Ling Xiao would act out of desperation. Don't worry. The Elder adjudication meeting? It's been a long time. I want to see how they are going to judge me. Ling Xiao smiled faintly without the slightest hint of worry on his face. Qi Yuanhua and LV Lishan no longer dared to speak arrogantly. Seeing that Ling Xiao was willing to cooperate, they obediently led the way and brought Ling Xiao to the peak of the Longevity Mountain. Let's go and take a look. When the time comes, we will mobilize all the disciples to petition to save the Holy Sun. Lu Chuanxiong's face revealed a trace of determination. Gu Zhong and Wang Han also nodded solemnly. Ling Xiao's expression was calm as he walked towards the peak of the Longevity Mountain. The Elder adjudication meeting was held in the Longevity Hall at the peak of the mountain. Most of the elders were already present and only Ling Xiao was missing. Along the way, many disciples pointed at Ling Xiao with different expressions when they saw him. This Holy Sun, who had appeared out of nowhere, had done so many shocking things in such a short period of time. It had to be said that although many disciples were jealous and envious, in the hearts of some low-level disciples, this Holy Sun Ling Xiao had become their spiritual idol. There were also some who faintly saw Ling Xiao as the hope of the Longevity sect. Killing Lin Haoyu, who was at the 9th level of the Spirit Transformation realm, with his cultivation at the True Energy realm. This kind of peerless talent amazed everyone. Not to mention, Lin Haoyu was extremely arrogant and had bullied many ordinary disciples. Ling Xiao killing Lin Haoyu could be considered as getting rid of an evil for them. However, when they thought of Lin Haoyu's grandfather, the strongest person in the longevity sect, Lin Shan, a trace of sympathy and pity appeared in everyone's eyes. In this world, the strong were still respected. Only the strong had the right to speak. Only the strong could make the rules. In other words, the strong were the rules. Seeing that this rising star was about to fall, even the jealous disciples felt a faint sorrow in their hearts. Ling Zhao's footsteps were light but powerful. Step by step, he walked up the mountain path towards the top of the mountain. The sunlight shone through the clouds and onto his body, illuminating his delicate and calm face. By the time Ling Xiao reached the peak of Longevity Mountain, the surroundings were filled with clouds and the Longevity Square was already filled with people. When the disciples saw Ling Xiao walking over, they all consciously opened up a path for him and saluted him with their eyes. At the end of the Longevity Square was a simple and ancient palace. It was the Longevity Hall. The palace gates opened and Ling Xiao walked into the Longevity Hall. At that very moment, tens of formidable figures were seated within the Longevity Hall. The formidable auras they emanated intertwined within the Longevity Hall to form a wondrous domain. Anyone who entered the domain would subconsciously kneel down. At the top was a handsome middle-aged man in a white robe. His eyes were as bright as the stars. He was the sect leader of Longevity Sect, Nangong Xian. The 2 rows below were also filled with the elders of Longevity Sect. The leader on the left was a burly old man with a head of silver hair. His eyes were majestic and he exuded a domineering aura. He was not any weaker than Nangong Xian. When he saw Ling Xiao, his eyes revealed a hint of murderous intent. Ling Xiao only glanced at him indifferently and confirmed the identity of this old man. He was the Grand Elder, Lin Shan. The leader on the right was an old man with white hair and a white beard. He had a sage-like demeanor. He looked at Ling Xiao with a hint of worry. He was the Great Elder. Nangong Qing was standing on top of the Great Elder. Her beautiful eyes were fixed on Ling Xiao from the start. Ling Xiao also saw the Enforcement Elder, Deng Tianda, sitting below the Great Elder. Behind him stood Deng Yalan. When they saw Ling Xiao, Nangong Qing and Deng Yalan revealed a slightly anxious expression. As for the other elders, Ling Xiao basically did not recognize them. However, looking at their cultivation, he could tell that they were at least in the Dragon-Tiger realm. When everyone saw Ling Xiao enter, their scrutinizing eyes fell on Ling Xiao. If an ordinary disciple was scrutinized by so many elders, he would have knelt on the ground with a thud. However, Ling Xiao's expression did not change. He calmly scanned the crowd. Reporting to the Grand Elder, Sect Leader, the criminal Ling Xiao is here. After Qi Yuanhua and LV Lishan entered the Longevity Hall, they quickly knelt down and reported. All right, you may leave. Lin Shan stood up and waved his hand. When he saw the injuries on Qi Yuanhua's body, his eyes instantly turned cold. However, he slowly regained his composure. In the end, his dignified gaze turned and landed on Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao, do you know your crime? His thunderous voice exploded, causing the ears of many disciples to ring. Their faces turned pale. Lin Shan's shout contained a trace of the spiritual pressure of the Grandmaster realm. If it was an ordinary disciple, he would have knelt down trembling in fear. His original intention was to intimidate Ling Xiao mentally before convicting him of his crimes. However, he was still disappointed. Ling Xiao's gaze was calm as if he was not affected at all. He said calmly, "Oh. What crime did I commit?" Many elders nodded slightly to be able to remain so calm under the pressure of the Grand Elder. Obviously, they could tell that Ling Xiao's temperament was extraordinary. At the same time, they also saw that Ling Xiao's cultivation was only at the 4th level of the true energy realm. At the 4th level of the true energy realm, he was able to kill Lin Haoyu, who was more than 10 levels higher than him. Such monstrous talent might really lead the longevity sect to glory. However, it was a pity, he had offended Grand Elder Lin Shan. Although many elders secretly felt that it was a pity, none of them dared to go against Lin Shan. When they thought of the consequences of offending Lin Shan, they could not help but shudder. This monstrous disciple was very likely to fall in today's Elders' Adjudication Conference. What did the Elders' Adjudication Conference mean? It meant that a layer of skin would be peeled off even if he was innocent, let alone if Ling Shao really killed Lin Haoyu. Killing fellow disciples was a big taboo in the sect. Even now, you still refuse to admit your crime? Lin Shan's gaze was cold as he said coldly, as a disciple of the longevity sect, you disrespected your elders and entered the longevity hall without bowing. You are disloyal and unfilial. Chapter 47. Qi Yuanhua and LV Lishan from my sect summoned you here today, but you injured them and disregarded the rules of the longevity sect. This is disrespectful. Most importantly, as a disciple of the longevity sect, you killed senior brother Lin Haoyu. You betrayed your master and betrayed your ancestors. This is unrighteous. A disloyal, unfilial, disrespectful, heartless animal like you still dare not admit to your crimes? Kneel down. Lin Shan's aura grew stronger and stronger. When he finished his last sentence, his aura had reached its peak. The Grand Master's aura pressed down on Ling Shao, trying to force him to kneel down. The energy dispersed in all directions, and the faces of the surrounding disciples turned pale. They were in a daze, as if Lin Shan's words had taken away their minds. However, Ling Shao was not affected at all. Ha ha ha, looking at Lin Shan's cold gaze, Ling Shao suddenly laughed out loud. If you want to condemn someone, you can always find a reason. Could it be that the Supreme Elder wants to force me to admit to my crimes before the Elders' Conference has even begun? Nangong Xian's face darkened. Junior Uncle Lin, this is the Elders' Conference. I'm afraid what you're doing isn't right. I don't want to see this happen again. The Great Elder stood up and said slowly, Supreme Elder, are you trying to force a confession out of him? Ling Shao is the holy son of the longevity sect. His status is not inferior to yours. He has the right to speak. Aren't you being too overbearing? However, an elder on the left stood up and said, Great Elder, you're wrong. Ling Shao has committed many sins. He betrayed his master and betrayed his ancestors. How can someone like him be the holy son of the longevity sect? Ling Shao, I advise you to admit to your crimes. Perhaps you can be punished lightly. Otherwise, you'll definitely die. That's right. Ling Shao has committed many sins. He must be punished severely. He's not fit to be the holy son of the longevity sect for killing his fellow disciples. Kill Ling Shao. Immediately, a few more elders stood up. Their eyes were gloomy and filled with coldness and mockery. Clearly, they were all on Lin Shan's side. Moreover, due to Lin Shan's prestige, apart from the first elder and a few elders who supported Nangong Xian, the majority of the people actually stood on Lin Shan's side. The trial of Ling Shao by the Elders' Adjudication Council had somehow turned into a confrontation between Nangong Xian and Lin Shan. Master, you have to uphold justice for me. Junior sister Lu and I were ordered by the elders to go to the Jin's pavilion to invite Ling Shao to participate in the elders' ruling conference, but we didn't expect that he would injure me and even break my arm, humiliating me in every possible way, extremely arrogant. Qi Yuanhua also took the opportunity to run out, kneeling in the main hall and complaining tearfully. Combined with his bloody arm, he looked rather pitiful. Even Ling Shao could not help but exclaim in admiration. What great acting skills! Too arrogant. Ling Shao has no respect for his elders, offending his superiors, bullying his fellow disciples, and harming his senior brothers. His crimes deserve death. That's right. This child may be talented, but his heart is not right. He will definitely be a huge threat to our Changsun sect in the future. Why not kill him in the cradle? I think he's a spy from the other sections. His cultivation has risen so quickly. He must have cultivated some kind of demonic cultivation method. The elders on Lin Shan's side all stood up and said with righteous indignation. Seeing that most of the elders were on his side, Lin Shan looked at Nangong Xian with disdain and let out a cold smile. Ling Xiao, what else do you have to say? Hearing the words of the elders, Ling Xiao's expression did not change, but the coldness in his eyes grew thicker. Very good. I've finally seen the true colors of you elders. No wonder Changsun's sect is getting worse and worse. You people only know how to bully your own people and suppress your own people. You don't care about Changsun sect's external enemies at all. If this goes on, I think the Changsun sect will not be far from destruction. Ling Xiao said with a cold smile. How dare you? Little bastard, you are courting death. Instantly, a few elders stood up and said coldly to Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao stared at Lin Shan and said coldly, you said that I am disloyal, unfilial, disrespectful, heartless and unrighteous. I think you are the one who deceives your master and ancestors. You can't differentiate between right and wrong. You are the old bastard who uses your power to seek revenge. Ling Xiao took a step forward and a domineering aura exuded from his body. It stunned the elders who were scolding him. Firstly, I am the holy son of the Changsun sect. I am the sect leader. This is the rule set by the heaven-devouring supreme ancestor 10,000 years ago. How dare you ask me to bow to you? Are you looking down on the ancestor? I think you are the one who does not follow the rules and deceives your master. Secondly, Qi Yuanhua and LV Lishan are only direct disciples. But when they saw me, they spoke rudely. Not only did they not bow to greet me, they even said vulgar words. Do they still respect me, the Holy Son? Do they still follow the rules of the sect? How dare you say that I do not follow the rules? Do you have eyes or not? You are the one who can't differentiate between right and wrong. Thirdly, Lin Haoyu used the fact that he is a direct disciple to kidnap my maidservant and burn down my Jin's pavilion. After he was defeated by me, he even tried to kill me with the pearflower storm needles. It is only right that I kill him. Who dares to question me? It is only because Lin Haoyu is your grandson that you want to accuse me of the crime. You are clearly using your power to seek revenge. Ling Xiao took a step forward with every sentence. His eyes were wide open and his voice was impassioned. His entire body exuded an inviolable righteousness. It made people feel as if an ancient saint was cursing evil and evil. Every word was the truth, every word was righteous. This pressing interrogation actually caused many of the elders to tremble in fear, and even Lin Shan's expression changed abruptly. How can an old bastard like you, who deceives your master and ancestors, who can't differentiate between right and wrong, and who uses your power to seek revenge, still have the face to stand in the Changsun Hall? You are not fit to be the grand elder of the Changsun sect. You are not fit to interrogate me. The Changsun sect has you. It is the shame of the Changsun sect. It is the shame of all the ancestors. Ling Zhao's words were like arrows that shot straight into Lin Shan's heart. Moreover, with the addition of the power of heaven and earth, Ling Zhao's figure became incomparably tall. His aura even surpassed Lin Shan's. You little bastard. You are infuriating me. Lin Shan's entire body trembled. His face was green and white and his eyes were filled with anger. He pointed at Ling Xiao and roared in the end. He spat out a mouthful of blood. He was actually angered to the point of vomiting blood by Ling Xiao's words. The elders in the Changsun Hall looked at Ling Xiao as if they had seen a ghost. They did not expect Ling Xiao to not only be talented in martial arts, but also have such a sharp tongue. Not only did he refute Lin Shan, he even slapped Lin Shan's face. Chapter 48. None of the disciples dared to speak, but they all looked at Ling Xiao with admiration. Ling Xiao actually made Grand Elder Lin Shan so angry that he vomited blood with just a few words. Ling Xiao's eloquence and courage were really something that they could not match. Furthermore, for a moment just now, everyone seemed to really think that Lin Shan was that bastard who betrayed his master and ancestors, unable to distinguish right from wrong, and used his power to avenge private wrongs. It could be seen how sharp Ling Xiao's words were. Ling Xiao already had the knowledge and experience of a supreme being, so he naturally had a domineering aura about him. In addition, he had used a little spiritual mystic technique to achieve this effect. What? The Grand Elder was rendered speechless by my words. Are you trying to silence me? Ling Xiao laughed coldly. He looked at Lin Shan's murderous eyes without a trace of fear. Humph. Little bastard, you insulted the elders of the sect. So what if you're the son of God? Can a son of God look down on the sect rules and insult his elders? No matter what you say, the 3 crimes you committed are all based on evidence. If you want to refute, is there anyone who can testify for you? Lin Shan was practically roaring, the murderous intent in his eyes undisguised. If it weren't for the fact that they were in public, he almost couldn't hold himself back from killing Ling Xiao with his palm. This little bastard is too despicable. Ling Xiao fell silent, but the mockery in his eyes became even more intense, causing Lin Shan to almost go crazy again. There's no evidence, right? Since there's no evidence, there's no point in your exaggeration. Elders, I think that Ling Xiao should be executed immediately. What do you think? Lin Shan's threatening gaze swept across the elders. The Grand Elder is right. Ling Xiao has committed a heinous crime and should be executed immediately. I agree to execute this little bastard. Ling Xiao is not fit to be the son of God. The elders who were loyal to Lin Shan jumped out immediately. At this moment, Deng Yalan, who was standing behind Deng Tianda, gritted his teeth and stood out. I'm willing to testify for the Son of God. Deng Yalan's words immediately silenced the noisy longevity hall. Everyone's eyes fell upon him. Some of the disciples even had strange looks in their eyes. Wasn't Deng Yalan taught Ling Xiao a lesson? Logically speaking, he should hate Ling Xiao. Why would he testify for him? Lin Shan's expression instantly darkened. His cold gaze landed on Deng Yalan and Deng Tianda as he said coldly, Junior brother Deng, keep your grandson in check. This is not a place where anyone can interrupt. Deng Tianda was also anxious. He shouted at Deng Yalan, Yalan, get back here. At this moment, Deng Tianda's feelings were complicated. He hated Ling Xiao for using the heavenly thunder of purple cloud to embarrass him, but he was also grateful for Ling Xiao's guidance to Deng Yalan. Combined, he did not say a word at the elders' adjudication meeting today. He just wanted to remain neutral. After all, Grand Elder Lin was not someone he could offend. But who would have thought that Deng Yalan, this brat, would actually run out at this time, even clamoring to testify for Ling Xiao. Deng Yalan's face turned red under everyone's gaze. However, he said firmly, no, I want to testify for the Son of God. He walked to the center of the hall and ignored the shocked gazes of the others. He said to Lin Shan, reporting to Grand Elder, Senior Brother Ling Xiao passed the 9th level of the Longevity Tower in front of all the disciples and was conferred the title of Holy Son by the sect master. All of us are sincerely convinced. Moreover, my father and the Grand Elder are witnesses. Since Senior Brother Ling Xiao has become the Son of God, his position and status are high. Naturally, he does not need to bow in front of the elders' meeting. The first crime is not valid. That's right. I can testify for that. Nangong Xian smiled. I can testify for that too. The Grand Elder smiled like an old fox. He was delighted to see someone stroking Lin Shan's beard. Everyone's gaze fell on Deng Tianda. Deng Tianda sighed in his heart. He knew that he could no longer remain silent. He nodded and said, that's right. Ling Shao is indeed the son of longevity sect. The words of these three influential people naturally had a different effect. It was equivalent to confirming Ling Xiao's identity as the son of God. Instantly, everyone was in an uproar. Especially Deng Tianda. As the enforcement elder, he could be said to be the fourth most powerful person after Nangong Xian, Lin Shan, and the Grand Elder. He had a high position and authority. Seeing that even he supported Ling Xiao, the other elders felt a chill in their hearts. They hesitated to make the decision they wanted to make. Good, good, good. Lin Shan laughed in anger. His cold gaze swept across Deng Yalan and Deng Tianda. A trace of killing intent spread out. In the past, Deng Tianda was on his side. Now that he had sided with Nangong Xian, he was naturally furious. He suddenly looked at Ling Xiao and said coldly, even if you can avoid the first crime, the fact that you injured Qi Yuanhua and killed Lin Haoyu is irrefutable evidence. No matter what, you must die. Grand Elder, we are willing to testify for the Son of God. At this moment, 3 people walked in from outside the longevity hall. They directly knelt in front of Nangong Xian and the other elders. They were Lu Chuanxiong, Gu Zhong, and Wang Han. Grand Elder, although Qi Yuanhua is a true disciple, after he came to the Jin's pavilion, he cursed the Son of God. He said that the Son of God was a little bastard. I tried to stop him, but he even injured me. I still have the mark of the wind cloud palm on my body. The Son of God injured me completely in self-defense. According to the sect's rules, if he insulted the Son of God, not to mention injuring him, it wouldn't be too much to even cripple his cultivation. Lu Chuanxiong said boldly. He even tore open the clothes in front of his chest, revealing a huge palm print on his chest. The wind and clouds turned into mist, and the spirit turned into reality. This is indeed the wind cloud palm. Immediately, an elder on Nangong Xian's side walked over, checked it, and nodded. The Grand Elder also smiled and said, the 37th rule of the longevity sect states that those who disrespect and insult the Son of God will be punished by the law enforcement hall. In the worst case, their cultivation will be crippled and they will be expelled from the sect. Qi Yuanhua deserved it. With the righteousness of the Son of God, all the accusations against Ling Xiao were no longer valid. Lin Shan's eyes were gloomy. Looking at Ling Xiao's incomparably calm expression, he felt even more displeased. Moreover, he felt that this elder's adjudication meeting was vaguely out of his control. Then it's still a fact that you injured Lin Haoyu, right? There are witnesses and evidence. The evidence is irrefutable. Why aren't you kneeling down and pleading guilty? Chapter 49. Ling Xiao had killed Lin Haoyu in front of everyone. There were many disciples who could testify, so this point could be said to be irrefutable. Lin Shan's thinking was very simple. As long as this crime was confirmed, Ling Xiao would definitely die. Nangong Qing's face revealed a trace of worry and anxiety. Everything else was fine, but no one could exonerate Ling Xiao from this point. After all, Lin Haoyu had died in Ling Xiao's hands. Nangong Xian and the Great Elder looked at each other and revealed a trace of worry in their eyes. At this moment, 2 young figures walked into the longevity hall. One of them was burly and had a violent aura, like a Vajra. The other was dressed in white and carried a long sword on his back. His figure was straight and his entire body was like a divine sword that pierced the heavens, exuding an incomparably sharp sword light. These 2 people were Zhuo Zhen and Jian Wuk. The 2 of them bowed to the elders and said, reporting to the sect leader, Grand Elder, and elders, we can testify for the Holy Son. What? Everyone was shocked, and their faces were filled with disbelief. Weren't Zhuo Zhen and Jian Wuk Lin Haoyu's subordinates? Furthermore, they had been defeated by Ling Xiao. Why would they testify for Ling Xiao? Lin Shan's expression instantly darkened. Zhuo Zhen, Jian Wuk, you better think carefully. This is the elders' adjudication conference. If there is any falsehood, not only will Ling Xiao die, but you will also not be able to walk out of the longevity hall alive. Lin Shan's voice was cold, but it carried an unconcealable anger and killing intent. Even Lin Shan did not expect Zhuo Zhen and Jian Wuk to jump out at this moment to testify for Ling Xiao. Good. Zhuo Zhen, Jian Wuk, what do you know? Quickly tell us. Nangong Xian heaved a sigh of relief and smiled at Zhuo Zhen and Jian Wuk. Reporting to the sect leader, when Zhuo Zhen and Jian Wuk were defeated by the Holy Sun, they did not leave the Nine-Yang Peak. Instead, they observed the battle between the Holy Sun and Lin Haoyu from afar. We did not expect the Holy Sun to be such a genius. He was able to suppress senior brother Lin to such an extent with his true energy realm cultivation. Zhuo Zhen's eyes revealed a trace of emotion and admiration. The conflict between the Holy Sun and senior brother Lin started because senior brother Lin burned down the Jin's pavilion and kidnapped the Holy Sun's maidservant. That was why the Holy Sun went to the Nine-Yang Peak to ask for her. Senior brother Lin and the Holy Sun had an agreement. As long as the Holy Sun could defeat senior brother Lin, he would release the maidservant. However, he did not expect that senior brother Lin would be defeated by the Holy Sun. The Holy Sun was prepared to spare his life, but not only did senior brother Lin not release the Holy Sun's maidservant, he even used the pear blossom storm needles in an attempt to kill the Holy Sun. In the end, he died at the hands of the Holy Sun. We can testify that the Holy Sun acted in self-defense and did not intend to kill senior brother Lin. Zhuo Zhen said solemnly. His eyes were extremely clear. It's just as junior brother Zhuo said. Jian Wuk was a man of few words. He nodded in agreement with Zhuo Zhen's words. Therefore, we believe that even if senior brother Lin died at the hands of the Holy Sun, senior brother Lin only has himself to blame and has nothing to do with the Holy Sun. The Holy Sun has done nothing wrong. Zhuo Zhen glanced at the elders and said slowly. What? So senior brother Lin was killed because he attacked the Holy Sun? If that's the case, then Lin Haoyu deserved to die. He burned down the Jin's pavilion and was disrespectful to the Holy Sun. According to the sect's rules, he should be crippled of his cultivation and expelled from the sect. However, he actually tried to kill the Holy Sun. He really deserved to die. I think senior brother Zhuo and senior brother Jian are speaking the truth. They have a good relationship with senior brother Lin. They shouldn't be lying. Many disciples spoke one after another. Most of them believed Zhuo Zhen and Jian Wuk's words. Ling Xiao also glanced at Zhuo Zhen and Jian Wuk with some surprise. He had not expected these two to stand out and testify. Originally, to Ling Xiao, this so-called elders' adjudication meeting was just a farce. He did not expect to be able to wash away the crimes that Lin Shan had forced on him. However, in this way, the three crimes that Lin Shan had accused him of had nothing to do with Ling Xiao. Even Nangong Qing and Deng Yalan were so shocked that their mouths were wide open. Very good. Zhuo Zhen, Jian Wuk, you can speak the truth and prove the Holy Sun's innocence. You are indeed the true disciples of our Changshan sect. Elders, in this way, the three crimes against the Holy Sun are not valid. I think the elders' adjudication meeting should have a conclusion, right? Nangong Xian heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. His expression also relaxed. Many elders also hesitated. Even those who were loyal to Lin Shan found it difficult to continue speaking. They subconsciously looked at Lin Shan. At this moment, Lin Shan's expression became uglier and uglier. The anger in his eyes seemed to be about to spew out. The killing intent was almost tangible. Ha ha ha. Ling Xiao, do you think you can escape death like this? Lin Shan's entire body emitted a violent aura. He stared at Ling Xiao and said, You killed Haoyu. If I say you are guilty, you are guilty. If I say you deserve to die, you deserve to die. Everyone's expression changed. Was Lin Shan going to shed all pretense of cordiality? Ling Xiao laughed coldly and said, As expected, you are the same as Lin Haoyu. using public office to avenge private grudges, deceiving your master and ancestors. How can an old bastard like you be worthy of being the supreme elder of the Changshan sect? I am standing right here. I want to see how you are going to kill me. Little bastard, die for me. Lin Shan couldn't hold it in any longer. His eyes were bloodshot, and his killing intent was overflowing. His mighty master's aura filled the Hall of Eternal Life, and the void seemed to have condensed in his palm. A huge palm print suddenly slammed towards Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed and a trace of golden light flickered in his eyes. A dangerous fluctuation spread out. However, before Ling Xiao could do anything, Nangong Xian, who was already prepared, rushed over and blocked in front of Ling Xiao. Boom! Nangong Xian and Lin Shan's palms collided. It was like a muffled explosion. Blazing rays of light shot out. The surrounding people felt a burst of white light in front of their eyes. It was deafening. Even their blood and qi were somewhat unstable. Lin Shan, how dare you attack Ling Xiao without permission? Do you still have me in your eyes? Do you still have the Changshan sect? Nangong Xian shouted loudly. There was a murderous aura in his eyes. It had to be said that Lin Shan attacking Ling Xiao in front of Nangong Xian was no different from slapping Nangong Xian's face hard. It made Nangong Xian a little angry. He must die today. Whoever dares to stop me will be my mortal enemy. You are not surprised. Lin Shan's eyes were scarlet red. An extremely violent aura spread out and formed a confrontation with Nangong Xian. Boom! Waves of air rolled and the ground shook. Chapter 50. Report. At this moment, a panicked voice was heard. Two disciples with blood all over their bodies rushed into the Longevity Hall and knelt down. Sect leader, the people from the He Huan sect have barged in. We couldn't stop them at all. They even injured a few of our disciples. Nangong Xian and Lin Shan's expressions changed as they released their auras. What are the people from the He Huan sect doing here? Nangong Xian asked coldly with a hint of anger in his eyes. The He Huan sect dared to barge into the Longevity sect and even injured their disciples. They were too arrogant. However, Nangong Xian knew that the He Huan sect was the strongest within 1,000 miles radius, followed by the Sky Demon Palace and the Longevity sect. This time, the people from the He Huan sect seemed to have ill intentions. Lin Shan and Nangong Xian had no choice but to give up on the confrontation. No matter what, the Longevity sect was facing an external enemy. If they were to fight internally, the Longevity sect would be finished. Sect leader, the people from the He Huan sect said, they said they are here to punish us. They said that the saint killed the son of the seventh elder and want us to hand over the saint. The disciples stole a glance at Ling Xiao as he spoke slowly. What? This is ridiculous. What does the saint of our Longevity sect have to do with the He Huan sect? The He Huan sect is too much. Nangong Xian's eyes flashed with a cold light. Ha ha ha. Sect leader Nangong, we came uninvited. I hope you don't blame us. Suddenly, a burst of deep laughter rang out from outside the Longevity Hall, causing the faces of Nangong Xian and the other elders to abruptly change. As they walked out of the Longevity Hall, they saw a group of experts in purple robes walking towards them from the Longevity Square. The leader was a middle-aged man in a purple robe. He looked extremely handsome and dignified. His entire body exuded the majesty of a superior. Moreover, his aura was not any weaker than Nangong Xian's. This purple-robed middle-aged man was actually a Grand Master realm expert. The dozen people behind him were old and young. All of them had cold expressions and powerful auras. Lu Guanjie. Nangong Xian's eyes flashed. He immediately recognized the purple-robed middle-aged man in front of him. He was the Vice Lord of the All-Pleasure sect, Lu Guanjie. Moreover, Lu Guanjie was at LV3 of the Grand Master realm, which was one level higher than Nangong Xian. Looking at the group of people in front of him, Ling Xiao narrowed his eyes. He recalled Ma Jun, whom he had killed in the fearsome beast mountain range, and what Ling Kun had said. Most likely, these people were here for him. Ling Xiao also saw a familiar face in the group of people from the all-pleasure sect. Lu Piapiao. Lu Piapiao seemed to have seen Ling Xiao as well. A trace of cold hatred appeared in her eyes. So it's Vice Sect Leader Lu. I wonder why Vice Sect Leader Lu has come to my longevity sect. He even injured a few of my longevity gate's disciples. Nangong Xian said indifferently. I'm really sorry, Sect Leader Nangong. Due to the urgency of the situation and the fact that your sect's disciples did not allow us to enter, we had no choice but to act. But don't worry, Sect Master Nangong, those disciples didn't suffer any serious injuries. Lu Guanjie smiled. As for coming to the longevity sect, it's naturally because of an important matter. I hope Sect Leader Nangong can cooperate. What's the matter? Nangong Xian said indifferently. May I ask who is your sect saint, Ling Xiao? Lu Guanjie glanced at the crowd and asked. I am. Ling Xiao walked out and looked at Lu Guanjie indifferently. Since the all-pleasure sect had come knocking on his door, Ling Xiao naturally would not back down. True Energy Realm Level 4. Is there no one else in your sect? You actually let such a young brat be your saint? Lu Guanjie laughed. He obviously did not believe it. Ling Xiao is our longevity sect's saint. Vice Sect Leader Lu, if you have something to say, please speak. If not, we'll have to see you out. Nangong Xian said coldly. The relationship between the longevity sect and the all-pleasure sect was not good. They were even hostile. Moreover, Lu Guanjie and his group had injured the longevity sect's disciples. Nangong Xian naturally would not be nice to them since they were so arrogant. You're really the longevity sect's saint. That's disrespectful of me. To be able to kill 9 of our all-pleasure sect's disciples in one go, your combat strength is not bad. Lu Guanjie's gaze landed on Ling Xiao and revealed a strange look. Nangong Xian's expression changed. He said coldly, Vice Sect Leader Lu, you can eat whatever you want, but you can't say whatever you want. Since you said that Ling Xiao killed 9 of our all-pleasure sect's disciples, then show us the evidence. Otherwise, don't blame us for being rude. Many of the longevity sect's disciples were also glaring at Lu Guanjie and his group. Their eyes were filled with anger. Regardless of whether Ling Xiao killed the all-pleasure sect's disciples or not, the fact that the all-pleasure sect had come to accuse them so openly. Did they really think that the longevity sect had no one? Little bastard, are you still not going to admit it? You're the one who killed my grandson. A skinny old man in a Taoist robe jumped out from behind Lu Guanjie. He did not hide the murderous intent in his eyes as he stared at Ling Xiao. This old man is called Ma Yan, the 7th elder of the all-pleasure sect. He's also the only upper-grade alchemist in the all-pleasure sect. At this moment, Nangong Xian's voice traveled into Ling Xiao's ears. A upper-grade alchemist? Ling Xiao was slightly taken aback. It seemed like Ma Yan's position was similar to the Great Elder's position in the longevity sect. A upper-grade alchemist was the foundation of a sect. His position was not something that ordinary elders could compare to. It was no wonder that Ma Yan could make Vice Sect Leader Lu Guanjie come to the longevity sect to accuse Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao glanced at Ma Yan and sneered, Old man, you'd better watch your mouth. I don't even know who your grandson is. How could I have killed him? This is the longevity sect, not your all-pleasure sect. Little bastard, I knew that you wouldn't admit it so easily. But today, I have gathered evidence and witnesses. I'll make you give up completely. Ma Yan looked at Ling Xiao coldly. Then, he patted the storage bag on his waist. Instantly, an ice coffin appeared in front of everyone. Inside the ice coffin was the corpse of a young man. His face was pale and he was no longer breathing. With just a glance, Ling Xiao could already confirm that it was Ma Jun, the one he had killed. This is my grandson, Ma Jun. He died in the fearsome Beast Mountain range. His neck was crushed by someone. However, his body is filled with the marks of the little King Kong fist. If you don't believe me, you can come and check. Ma Yan's eyes were filled with grief. The hatred in his eyes intensified as he looked at Ling Xiao. Little King Kong fist. Chapter 51. I'll do it. Lin Shan's eyes flashed and he walked forward with a sneer. He placed one hand on the ice coffin and his Grandmaster Realm primary energy flowed out from his body, spreading towards Ma Jun's corpse. A Grandmaster Realm powerhouse could control their own power to the finest detail. They could even begin to touch the mysterious spiritual realm. Naturally, they could easily sense the situation inside the ice coffin with their own primary energy. The power of the fist was vigorous and carried a trace of Vajra annihilation intent. This is indeed an injury caused by the lesser Vajra fist. Moreover, he had practiced the lesser Vajra fist to perfection. He had even touched upon the concept of fist Tao. Lin Shan opened his eyes and said slowly. Grand Elder, are you sure you didn't see wrongly? The lesser Vajra fist may only be a high-grade profound class martial art, but it is difficult to understand. There aren't many disciples in the longevity sect who practice the lesser Vajra fist. Moreover, most of them are at the entry level. Only Deng Yalan has reached the major completion level. The Grand Elder said coldly. However, his heart skipped a beat. When Ling Xiao displayed the lesser Vajra fist, there were many people present. Back then, Ling Xiao had even displayed the Vajra fist intent. If Ma Jun had really died under the lesser Vajra fist, then it was very likely that Ling Xiao had killed him. But even so, he was determined not to admit it. The all-pleasure sect had come in such a menacing manner. They had come with ill intentions. He couldn't let them have any more evidence against him. How could I have seen wrongly? Grand Elder, don't you remember? I heard that when Ling Xiao passed the 9th level of the Longevity Tower, he displayed the lesser Vajra fist to perfection in front of everyone. Moreover, he even displayed the Vajra fist intent. The Holy Sun is truly a genius. Lin Shan smiled faintly as his gaze fell upon Ling Xiao. Not good. Nangong Xian and the Grand Elder's expressions changed. They looked at Lin Shan with a trace of anger. Was Lin Shan trying to force Ling Xiao into a corner? Ling Xiao had passed the 9th level of the Longevity Tower and displayed the Vajra fist intent. If the people from All Pleasures Sect and Demonic Palace were to find out about this, they would do everything they could to kill Ling Xiao. Such a monstrous genius was simply too big of a threat to the future of their two sections. Nangong Xian had already issued a gag order long ago, but Lin Shan had leaked it at this time. His intentions were clear. As expected, Lu Guanjia and Ma Yan's expressions changed when they heard Lin Shan's words. They looked at Ling Xiao with murderous intent. What did clearing the 9th floor of the Longevity Tower mean? If he didn't die in the future, he would at least become a peerless expert. And to comprehend the concept of fist while still in the true energy realm, this made them even more restless. If this kind of threat cannot be used by me, then I must eliminate it as soon as possible. Little bastard, what else do you have to say? Even your Grand Elder Lin Shan has spoken. You killed my grandson, so you must pay with your life. Ma Yan's eyes revealed a trace of deep-seated hatred. Lin Shan also shouted, Ling Xiao, you actually dared to kill Elder Mayan's grandson. Are you trying to start a war between our Longevity Sect and All Pleasure Sect? I see that you have ulterior motives and have already fallen into the demonic path. Why don't you kneel down and admit your sins? Ling Xiao looked at the faces of the people in front of him and sneered, just based on the fact that this person was killed by the small Vajra fist, you are certain that I am the murderer? As the saying goes, catch an adulterer with a pear, catch a thief with the stolen goods. Did any of you see me kill the All Pleasure Sect's disciple? The small Vajra fist does not belong to our sect. As far as I know, the demonic palace also has a martial art similar to the small Vajra fist. Why don't you go to the demonic palace and ask for the person? Do you think that our longevity sect is easy to bully? Nangong Xian also said coldly, Ling Xiao is right. The demonic palace's lesser demon subduing fist and my sect's lesser Vajra fist are of the same origin. The damage caused is also very similar. You want to punish my sect's holy son with just a corpse? Isn't that too laughable? Vice Sect Master Lu, if you can't produce any evidence, I will have to send you off. Nangong Xian's heart was also filled with anger. Logically speaking, everyone should be united against outsiders. However, he did not expect Lin Shan to be a traitor. He probably really wanted to kill Ling Xiao. Of course, we have more evidence than this. Ma Yan sneered and said, Today, I will make you give up. Although the demonic palace's small Vajra fist and the small Vajra fist are of the same origin, we have also gone to the demonic palace to understand. There is no one in the demonic palace who has cultivated the small Vajra fist to the greater mastery stage. Therefore, other than Ling Xiao, who else could it be? Furthermore, we have a witness. Just as Ma Yan finished speaking, Lu Piapiao walked out. Piapiao, don't be afraid. Tell us everything you know. Ma Yan said slowly. Lu Piapiao. Nangong Xian's eyes flashed. He had some impression of Lu Piapiao. Wasn't she an inner disciple of the longevity sect? Why was she on the side of the all-pleasure sect? Greetings to Sect Master Nangong and all the elders. Lu Piapiao said in a crisp voice. She had a weak temperament on her face. Young Master Ma Jun died 7 days ago. At that time, Ling Xiao entered the fearsome Beast Mountain range to train. I believe that I am not the only one who saw this. Many disciples of the longevity sect saw this. Moreover, some people saw Ling Xiao killing a giant snake not far from where Senior Ma Jun died and saving 3 disciples of the longevity sect. Therefore, based on the time, location and martial arts skills, the murderer is Ling Xiao. Lu Piapiao pointed at Ling Xiao with a trace of hatred in her eyes. Good, very good. Nangong Xian was so angry that he laughed and said, the all-pleasure sect is really capable. They actually managed to subdue the inner disciples of the longevity sect and even turned around to accuse the holy son of the longevity sect. However, I can tell you clearly that this is only indirect evidence. Although Ling Xiao is a suspect, you do not have any clear evidence to prove that he killed Ma Jun. Sect Master Nangong, you flatter me. Lu Piapiao is just abandoning the darkness for the light. Lu Guanjie smiled slightly. However, this sentence made all the disciples of the longevity sect angry. Abandoning the darkness for the light? Who is the darkness? Who is the light? Moreover, anyone with a discerning eye could tell that Lu Piapiao was not subdued by them. Instead, Lu Piapiao was a spy that they had planted in the longevity sect. Sect Master Nangong, there is one more thing that I want to tell you. Lu Piapiao is the niece of the longevity city's City Lord Lu. When City Lord Lu knows that such a huge murder case happened in his jurisdiction, he placed great importance on it. I'm afraid that he will come to the longevity sect very soon. Lu Guanjie did not seem to notice the gazes of the people around him as he threw out another piece of heavy news. What? The City Lord of the longevity city, Lu Xiongfei. At the mention of this person, Nangong Xian and the Great Elder looked at each other and revealed a trace of shock. Their faces turned ugly. Although the 3 great sects were very powerful and could be said to be the overlords of this area, the longevity city was the true ruler. The longevity city represented the prestige of the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom. Even the sect masters of the 3 great sects had to lower their heads when they saw Lu Xiongfei. If the all-pleasure sect had the backing of the longevity city, then today's matter would be difficult to handle. The City Lord of the longevity city is coming. Chapter 52. Lu Guanjie had a faint smile on his face, as though victory was already in his hands. Longevity City not only represented the prestige of the Great Desolation ancient country, but more importantly, the Longevity City Lord, Lu Xiongfei, was the strongest person within 1,000 miles. Lu Xiongfei and his Flying Bear army had exterminated countless sects and bandits that disobeyed orders. Even the three sects were extremely wary of them. If it was the All-Pleasure sect, although they were slightly stronger than the Longevity sect, Nangong Xian was naturally not afraid. However, if Lu Xiongfei was added, he would feel immense pressure. How about it? Sect leader Nangong, have you thought about it? As long as you hand Ling Xiao over to us, everything will be fine. However, if we wait until City Lord Lu arrives, I'm afraid it will be difficult. Lu Guanjie said indifferently. Sect leader, didn't I say that this brat is a scourge? Not only did he harm his fellow sect members, but he also killed the disciples of the All-Pleasure sect. He has caused so much trouble for the Longevity sect. Sect leader, are you still going to protect him? Lin Shan said coldly. The All-Pleasure sect's arrival had given him the best opportunity to get rid of Ling Xiao. He naturally would not let it go. Ling Xiao looked coldly at Lin Shan, and a trace of killing intent appeared in his heart. No matter what, Ling Xiao's matter was an internal matter of the Longevity sect. However, Lin Shan actually stood on the side of the All-Pleasure sect for revenge. Such a person was simply a traitor and deserved to be killed. Nangong Xian hesitated for a moment, but in the end, he gritted his teeth and said, Deputy Sect Leader Lu, forgive me for not agreeing. Even if City Lord Lu comes, he cannot interfere with the matters of the Longevity sect. Ling Xiao is the holy son of the Longevity sect. We cannot hand him over to you. At the end, Nangong Xian's voice carried a trace of decisiveness. Nangong Qing also heaved a sigh of relief. However, when she thought of Lu Xiongfei who was about to arrive, her heart sank again. Facing this City Lord Lu, could Nangong Xian really withstand such great pressure? Almost as soon as Nangong Xian finished speaking, a disciple rushed in to report. Sect leader, the City Lord of the Longevity sect and Master Jiao Mu have come to visit. They have already arrived at the foot of the Longevity Mountain. The Great Elder was slightly taken aback, as if he thought of something. He said with a slightly red face, Master Jiao Mu. Which Master Jiao Mu is it? The guarding disciple said respectfully, it's Longevity City's Grand Master Jiao Mu. I have a visiting card as proof. When the Great Elder took the invitation from the guarding disciple, his eyes were filled with excitement. He looked at Nangong Xian and said, Sect Master, it's Master Jiao Mu from the Spiritual Medicine Pavilion. What? It wasn't just Nangong Xian. Even Lu Guanjie and Ma Yan from the Joyful Union sect were shocked. Why is Grandmaster Jiao Mu here? Didn't he also not care about worldly affairs, and only hid in the Spirit Medicine Pavilion to refine pills? Even the sect leaders of the three major sects went to the Spiritual Potions Pavilion several times, but they all refused to let us in. Nangong Xian's expression was somewhat gloomy. He didn't know why Grandmaster Jiao Mu had come. If Lu Xiongfei made him feel fear, then Master Jiao Mu made him feel reverence. It was not only Master Jiao Mu's Grandmaster realm cultivation that made people revere him, but also his identity as an alchemy master. In the entire Great Desolation ancient kingdom, alchemists were very rare, and alchemy masters were even rarer. Even if they went to the capital, they would be treated with respect by the king. The most powerful people in the three major sects were only high-grade alchemists, including the Longevity sect's Great Elder and the Joyful Union sect's Ma Yan. As for Grandmaster Jiao Mu, it was said that this low-grade alchemy master came from the capital. His identity was incomparably noble, and the power behind him was unfathomable. In the face of such a big figure, not only Lu Xiongfei, but the three major sects also naturally treated him like an ancestor. The three sect leaders even went to visit him several times, but they were all refused. Now, Grandmaster Jiao Mu actually took the initiative to come to the Longevity sect. How could it not be shocking? Ha ha ha. Grandmaster Jiao Mu was naturally invited by City Lord Lu. You don't know, right? Lu Piapiao's cousin, City Lord Lu's daughter, is Grandmaster Jiamu's personal disciple. The relationship between City Lord Lu and Grandmaster Jiamu is not something you can imagine. Moreover, my grandson, Ma Jun, was very talented in alchemy. He was almost taken in as Grandmaster Jiamu's disciple. Ling Xiao, this little bastard, killed my grandson. Grandmaster Jiamu is here to punish you. Ling Xiao, are you still not going to surrender? Ma Yan laughed incomparably happily. Finally, his cold gaze landed on Ling Xiao as he shouted loudly. What? Grandmaster Jiamu wants to take Ma Jun as his disciple? This way, Ling Xiao killed Ma Jun. Grandmaster Jiamu will definitely not let this matter rest. One city lord of the longevity sect is one thing, but now there's Grandmaster Jiamu. This Ling Xiao is really a troublemaker. Why don't we just hand him over? If we offend City Lord Lu, especially Grandmaster Jiamu, our longevity sect will be in danger. Many of the longevity sect's disciples were scared silly. Grandmaster Jiamu was like a huge mountain that pressed down on their hearts, making it hard for them to breathe. Even Lian Shan's face was filled with fear and panic. Sect leader, are you still not going to wake up at this time? If Ling Xiao doesn't die, our longevity sect will be finished. Lin Shan said fiercely. That's right. Ling Xiao, this little bastard, is not suitable to be the holy son of our longevity sect. Hand him over. Kill him. You must kill this scourge. Sect leader, you can't ignore the safety of the longevity sect. Many of the elders in Lin Shan's faction said one after another. This way, the pressure on Nangong Xian's body was even greater. Nangong Xian looked at Ling Xiao and laughed bitterly. It was as if he was saying, you really know how to cause trouble. Even so, Nangong Xian could not hand Ling Xiao over. Not to mention the fact that Ling Xiao had found the longevity supreme scripture for the Changsun sect. Just based on Ling Xiao's monstrous talent, the Changsun sect would probably be able to rise up rapidly and surpass the other two sects within a few years. It was even possible to restore the glory of their ancestors. The reason why the All-Pleasure sect insisted on killing Ling Xiao was probably because Ling Xiao killed Ma Jun. The more important reason was that they felt threatened by Ling Xiao. If Ling Xiao did not die, the All-Pleasure sect and the demonic palace would not be able to sit still. That's enough. Ling Xiao laughed coldly. Looking at Lin Shan and the elders behind him, he said, our longevity sect reigned supreme in the War God continent 10,000 years ago. No one dared to call themselves supreme in this world. How proud and majestic were the sky-devouring supreme patriarch and the longevity sect patriarch. At that time, not to mention the alchemy grandmasters, even the alchemy grandmasters and alchemy grandmasters had to bow in front of our longevity sect. But now, look at you. How did the longevity sect produce such spineless things? A mere longevity city lord and an alchemy grandmaster can scare you to this extent. If the patriarchs in the underworld knew, they would be so angry that they would come back to life and strangle you to death. Chapter 53. Ling Xiao, how dare you? You're the one who caused this trouble and you still have the cheek to blame us. 10,000 years ago, our Changsun sect was very strong. However, the situation is different now. If we were like you, our Changsun sect would have been destroyed long ago. Why don't you accept your death? Consider it a contribution to our Changsun sect. Lin Shan jumped up in anger and pointed at Ling Xiao's nose as he scolded. As for Lu Guanjie, Ma Yan and the others from Hehuan sect, when they saw that the Changsun sect was already in a mess before Lu Xiongfei and the others had arrived, they let out a faint smile and stood at the side, looking as though they were watching a good show. What do you mean by I caused this trouble? We haven't even seen Lu Xiongfei and Jiao Mu. Do you really think he's here to cause trouble for us? Ling Xiao sneered as he stared at Lin Shan without any fear. What? Do you think that City Lord Lu and Master Jiao Mu aren't here to settle the score with you but to have tea with you? Lin Shan sneered with a hint of mockery in his eyes. Of course I know why they're here. Ling Xiao said indifferently. I don't know why City Lord Lu is here, but Master Jiao Mu is here to give me a gift. Ling Xiao's words stunned Lin Shan, Ma Yan, and the rest. Then, a burst of laughter rang out. Ha ha ha. Ling Xiao, are you scared silly? If Master Jiao Mu is here to give you a gift, I'll eat this rock. Lin Shan pointed at a huge bluestone not far away and said with a mocking expression. Elder Lin, I think this kid is scared silly by Master Jiao Mu. He's starting to talk nonsense. However, when Master Jiao Mu arrives, he'll be in for a treat. Ma Yan said with a cold laugh. Nangong Xian and the great elder smiled bitterly at Ling Xiao. This kid was really troublesome. Even they didn't believe that Master Jiao Mu was here to give Ling Xiao a gift. They naturally knew Ling Xiao's identity. Although he was the son of the Demon King of the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom, the Demon King had gone missing. Ling Xiao was an abandoned child, even worse than a side disciple. Ling Xiao looked at Lin Shan indifferently and said, All right, I'll wait for you to eat it. Little bastard, you're still so stubborn even when you're about to die. I hope you can still be so stubborn when Grand Master Jiao Mu and City Lord Lu arrive. Lin Shan said coldly, his eyes filled with killing intent. Suddenly, a commotion broke out within the Longevity Square and the many disciples automatically parted to form a path. Several figures slowly walked over from afar. Nangong Xian, the first elder, Lu Guanjie, Ma Yan, and the others were shocked when they saw those figures. They quickly went forward to greet them. 3 figures walked out of the Longevity Square. The leader was an old man with white hair and beard. He had a ruddy complexion and a faint smile on his face. His eyes were deep and filled with vicissitudes of life, flickering with the light of wisdom. He wore a red robe, and a small golden cauldron was embroidered on his chest using golden thread. There were 5 flaming golden stars in the cauldron. 5 blazing golden stars, a low-grade alchemy grandmaster. This was a rule set by the Alchemy Guild that covered the entire War God continent. Anyone who dared to impersonate an alchemy master would be hunted down by the entire Alchemy Guild. The golden cauldron and the blazing golden stars represented the identity of an alchemy master. A low-grade alchemy master would have 1 blazing golden star, and the highest-grade alchemy grandmaster would have 12 blazing golden stars. It was rumored that above the alchemy grandmaster was the supreme alchemy master. The symbol of the supreme alchemy master was a cauldron, a sun, and a moon. A golden cauldron swallowing the sun and moon was the supreme alchemy master. It was hard to say if there were any supreme alchemy masters on the War God continent. That level of existence was not something ordinary people could imagine. Needless to say, everyone understood that this old man was Grandmaster Jiao Mu. Beside the old man was a middle-aged man in brocade robes. His robes were embroidered with the image of a giant bear, looking luxurious and extraordinary. The middle-aged man's skin was fair and clean, and 3 strands of beard fluttered under his chin. He looked extremely elegant, and his eyes shone brightly. He looked very dignified. Nangong Xian, Lu Guanjie, and the others had all seen him before. This middle-aged man was naturally the City Lord of Eternal Life City, Lu Xiongfei. Behind Grandmaster Jiao Mu and Lu Xiongfei stood a beautiful girl in a red dress. Her face was beautiful and her figure was graceful. More importantly, she looked like she was only 17 or 18 years old, but her cultivation had already reached the first level of the spirit transformation realm. After seeing this girl, many of the Longevity Sect's disciples couldn't help but shift their gazes to Nangong Qing. Compared to Nangong Qing's cold and refined temperament, this girl in red dress wasn't any weaker. It gave people the illusion that they were 2 beauties competing for beauty. Ling Xiao naturally recognized the girl in red. She was Grandmaster Jiao Mu's disciple, Lu Piapiao. When Ling Xiao heard that Grandmaster Jiao Mu and Lu Xiongfei were coming, he understood why Lu Piapiao had left without saying goodbye. Lu Piapiao also noticed Ling Xiao and winked at him playfully. Greetings Grandmaster Jiao Mu, greetings City Lord Lu. Nangong Xian, the elders and disciples of the Eternal Life sect, Lu Guanjie, Ma Yan, and the others all bowed. Only Ling Xiao stood there with a calm expression. He didn't have any intention of bowing. Ling Xiao, how dare you? How dare you not bow when you see Grandmaster Jiao Mu and City Lord Lu? Kneel down and kowtow to admit your guilt. Lin Shan saw that Ling Xiao didn't have any luggage. His eyes flashed coldly as he shouted. It's fine, it's fine. You don't have to be so polite. Grandmaster Jiao Mu said with a smile. City Lord Lu and I came uninvited. We were rash. We hope Sect Master Nangong won't blame us. Nangong Xian hurriedly said, I wouldn't dare, I wouldn't dare. It's the Eternal Life Sect's blessing that Grandmaster Jiao Mu can come. The Great Elder and Ma Yan were the most excited. Both of them were high-grade alchemists. When they saw Jiao Mu, an alchemy grandmaster, their eyes were filled with fervor. They followed Jiao Mu step by step, as respectful as a disciple. Everyone smiled and exchanged greetings. However, their hearts were pounding. They were guessing the purpose of Grandmaster Jiao Mu and Lu Xiongfei's visit. Lu Chuanxiong, Gu Zhong, and Wang Han were originally worried about Ling Xiao. However, when they saw Lu Piapiao behind Grandmaster Jiao Mu, their eyes widened in surprise. At this moment, they finally understood what Ling Xiao had said and heaved a sigh of relief. Grandmaster Jiao Mu, City Lord Lu, he's Ling Xiao. He's the one who killed my grandson, Ma Jun, and your future disciple. This little bastard deserves to die. However, the Eternal Life sect is protecting him and won't hand him over. Please help me. After exchanging greetings, Ma Yan couldn't help but jump out. He pointed at Ling Xiao and said with a murderous look. Nangong Xian and the elders of the Eternal Life sect were shocked. Chapter 54. Master Jiao Mu and Lu Xiongfei looked at each other with a strange look in their eyes. They were here today because of Lu Piapiao, especially Jiao Mu. When he heard that Ling Xiao was from the Changsun sect and that Lin Shan, the Grand Elder, wanted to harm Ling Xiao, he was shocked and angry. He rushed over in a hurry. Lu Xiongfei was also very interested in Ling Xiao. Jiao Mu, who had been instructed by Ling Xiao, didn't immediately greet Ling Xiao as his master. Instead, he looked at Ma Yan as if he was watching a good show. Oh! What crime did Ling Xiao commit? Ma Yan secretly looked at Lu Yi. Lu Yi nodded slightly and walked out to bow to Lu Xiongfei and Master Jiao Mu. Reporting to Uncle and Master, Ling Xiao has committed a heinous crime. He killed the innocent in the Longevity sect and harmed his fellow sect members. Even Elder Lin Shan's grandson, Lin Haoyu, died in his hands. Moreover, 7 days ago, Ling Xiao killed Elder Mayan's grandson, Ma Jun, and 8 other disciples of the Joyful Union sect at the Fearsome Beast mountain range. Such a murderer has committed a heinous crime. Uncle and Grandmaster, please uphold justice. Lu Yi looked very weak and pitiful. When she spoke, her eyes were red as if Ling Xiao was really a bad person who committed all kinds of crimes. Everyone couldn't help but sympathize with her. City Lord Lu and Master, please uphold justice for me. Ma Yan bowed and looked at Ling Xiao with eyes full of hatred. Miss Yi and Elder Ma are right. Ling Xiao deserves to die. Such a person is a black sheep. Our Changsun sect doesn't have such a disciple. Master, please uphold justice for us. Lin Shan also stood out and said righteously. Ling Xiao, Master Jiao Mu and City Lord Lu are here. You have committed too many heinous crimes to be recorded. Kneel down and surrender. Ma Yan's cold gaze landed on Ling Xiao as he roared. Noisy. Ling Xiao said coldly, feeling a sense of boredom in his heart. He had seen the ugly faces of these people and couldn't be bothered to pretend to be polite with them. He immediately looked at Master Jiao Mu. "Jiao Mu, did you successfully refine the elixir?" Ling Xiao said indifferently. Jiao Mu's face instantly bloomed into a smile. He jogged all the way to Ling Xiao, his eyes filled with unconcealable excitement. "Moss. Young Master Ling, I've successfully refined the 7 profound treasure pill, and it's of superior quality. Young Master Ling, please take a look." Jiao Mu respectfully handed over a jade box. At this moment, everyone was dumbfounded. What was going on? Didn't they say that Master Jiao Mu and City Lord Lu were here to punish Ling Xiao? Why did Jiao Mu run over to Ling Xiao just because of one sentence? Everyone felt that their brains couldn't process what was happening, and they were all dumbfounded. Ling Xiao opened the jade box. Inside were 3 treasured pills the size of a longan fruit. Radiance overflowed, and a medicinal fragrance assailed his nostrils. Moreover, 7 resplendent patterns lingered around the pills. They were extremely mysterious. The patterns are clear, and the medicinal fragrance is pure. This is indeed a high-quality 7 profound treasure pill. However, this success rate is a bit too low. You still need to continue working hard. Alright, I'll take these 3 pills. Ling Xiao frowned and finally accepted the 3 7 profound treasured pills. 7 profound treasure pill. Great Elder's ears twitched as he suddenly thought of something. He exclaimed in shock, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. Could it be the 7 profound treasure pill from the ancient times? A supreme treasure pill that can help a dragon tiger realm powerhouse comprehend the connection between heaven and man, the power of heaven and earth, and break through to the Grandmaster realm? Rumor has it that only fragments of the 7 profound treasure pill are left now, but Master Jiao Mu actually restored the 7 profound treasure pill. This is really too amazing. Great Elder's voice was a little excited. That's right, it's the 7 profound treasure pill. However, this wasn't restored by me. This was restored by young Master Ling, an elder who restored it and gave it to me. Jiao Mu coughed dryly and was stopped by Ling Xiao's gaze. He instantly chuckled. Young Master Ling. Young Master Ling's elder. The eyes of Great Elder, Nangong Xian, and the rest lit up. Judging from Master Jiao Mu's words, it seemed that he had a good relationship with Ling Xiao. In that case, who would dare to touch Ling Xiao? No wonder this kid wasn't afraid at all when he heard that Master Jiao Mu was coming. It turned out that he had something to rely on. We were worried for nothing. Putting aside Nangong Xian and Great Elder's slander, Hehuan Sec's Lu Guanjie, Ma Yan, and Grand Elder Lin Shan's expressions changed drastically. Master Jiao Mu actually had such a close relationship with Ling Xiao. How could they touch him now? The name of the 7 profound treasure pill made Ma Yan pale with fright. This supreme treasure pill that could help a dragon tiger realm powerhouse break through to the Grandmaster realm would definitely shock the entire Great Barren Ancient Kingdom. After all, the barrier between the dragon tiger realm and the Grandmaster realm was like a natural chasm that was difficult to cross. If one could rely on a treasure pill to break through, it would definitely make countless powerhouses scramble like ducks. One could imagine that Master Jiao Mu's status in the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom would definitely become extremely respected with the 7 profound treasure pill. At this time, who would dare to touch Ling Xiao? Ling Xiao glanced at the ugly Ma Yan and said indifferently, Jiao Mu, I heard that you want to take Ma Jun as your disciple. Jiao Mu naturally knew what Ling Xiao meant. He sneered and said, Young Master Ling, aren't you looking down on me? I, Jiao Mu, won't accept just anyone. I've seen Ma Jun once. His aptitude is mediocre and he can't be trained. He has no talent in alchemy. Jiao Mu's words made Ma Yan's face turn red with shame and anger. He had just announced that Master Jiao Mu wanted to take his grandson as his disciple. In the blink of an eye, he had been slapped in the face. However, he didn't dare to be angry in front of Master Jiao Mu. Instead, he hated Ling Xiao to the extreme. Who was the one who said that he wanted to eat that big bluestone? Ling Xiao glanced at Lin Shan. The corner of Lin Shan's mouth twitched. He simply turned his head and pretended that he didn't know anything, but his heart was exploding with anger. Who would have thought that Master Jiao Mu had really come to give Ling Xiao a gift? Elder Meng, Elder Wang, Elder Li, you're all very good. You're able to maintain your strength of character and not wallow in the mire with despicable people. It's very rare. These 7 profound treasure pills are for you. I hope you can break through to the Grandmaster realm as soon as possible. Ling Xiao said indifferently. 3 streams of light fell into the hands of the 3 elders who were close to Nangong Xian. The 3 elders were stunned for a moment. Then, they revealed an expression of incomparable ecstasy. Many thanks to the Holy Sun. The Holy Sun's talent is unparalleled. Sooner or later, your name will spread throughout the great barren ancient kingdom. From today onwards, I, Old Wang, will be a hardcore supporter of the Holy Sun. That's right. I, Old Li, also support the Holy Sun. That old thing Lin Shan is nothing compared to the Holy Sun. Chapter 55. The elders on Lin Shan's side were also tempted. They looked at the 7 profound treasure pill with longing in their eyes. Seeing this, Ling Xiao smiled slightly. This was the effect he wanted. Lu Yi's eyes were also filled with unwillingness. She originally looked down on Ling Xiao, but who would have thought that Ling Xiao would grow to such a terrifying extent in such a short period of time? The more it was like this, the more panicked she felt and the more she wanted to destroy Ling Xiao. Perhaps it was to hide the regret in her heart. However, Master Jiao Mu and Ling Xiao looked at each other. What else could she do? No, there was still Lu Xiongfei. She could only beg this uncle now. Uncle, Ling Xiao is despicable and shameless. Not only did he harm his fellow disciples, but he also once, molested me. Please help me. Lu Yi was about to cry. Her innocent big eyes were red and teary, giving people a feeling of pity. Lu Xiongfei's eyes flashed, and a strange expression appeared on his face. Before he could speak, Lu Piapiao walked out and looked at Lu Yi. She asked with a smile, "Oh? Ling Xiao is actually so shameless. He even dares to touch my Lu family's people. Cousin, tell me, when did he take advantage of you? Did he succeed?" Lu Yi looked at her cousin in front of her. A trace of jealousy flashed across her face, but she still said respectfully, "Cousin, it's just a while ago, but I tried my best to break free. He didn't succeed. Uncle and cousin, please uphold justice for me." Lu Yi's performance was so touching that almost some disciples were jealous and wanted to question Ling Xiao. However, Lu Piapiao's next words made Lu Yi feel as if she had fallen into an ice abyss. If it's as you said, Ling Xiao is really shameless. Lu Piapiao glanced at Ling Xiao with a faint smile and continued, "But there's one thing you don't know. Senior sister Nangong and I from Changxing sect are both little handmaidens of Ling Xiao. He didn't molest us but molested you. Do you think he's out of his mind?" Senior sister Nangong. Lu Piapiao's gaze finally landed on Nangong Qing. What? Lu Piapiao and Nangong Qing are actually Ling Xiao's maids. This news was earth-shattering, shocking everyone to the point that they were dumbstruck. It had to be said that this news was too explosive. Who were Lu Piapiao and Nangong Qing? Lu Piapiao was the goddess in the hearts of countless disciples and was faintly regarded as the 2 most beautiful fairies. However, Lu Piapiao actually admitted that she was Ling Xiao's maidservant. Nangong Qing frowned. Looking at Lu Piapiao's playful expression, she did not refute. In the eyes of many disciples, this expression was equivalent to tacit agreement. Immediately, countless disciples began to wail in their hearts. They looked at Ling Xiao with anger in their eyes. Lu Piapiao's face instantly turned pale. she realized that she was completely wrong. It turned out that Lu Piapiao and Lu Xiongfei did not come because of her reputation. It was because they were here for Ling Xiao. Master Jiaomu had come for Ling Xiao. Lu Piapiao and Lu Xiongfei also came for Ling Xiao. At the thought of this, Lu Guanjie, Ma Yan, and the others' eyes revealed a trace of shock. Who was this Ling Xiao? How could he have such powerful energy? At this moment, Lu Xiongfei spoke up. He looked at Lu Piapiao helplessly and smiled slightly. Fellow cultivators from Changsun sect and Hehuan sect, logically speaking, this is your sect's internal affairs. I shouldn't interfere. However, I feel that it's better to clarify some things. 7 days ago, Ling Xiao did not go to Beast Mountain Range. Instead, he went to Longevity City. He is my daughter's good friend. He has been with my daughter and Master Jiaomu. If you don't believe me, you can ask Master Jiaomu. Therefore, it's impossible for Ling Xiao to have the time to kill Ma Jun. Master Jiaomu also smiled slightly. City Lord Lu is right. Young Master Ling has been with me all this time. There's no time for him to commit the crime. Lu Guanjie and Ma Yan immediately extinguished their anger. Lu Xiongfei and Master Jiaomu had both testified for Ling Xiao. Even if they had 10,000 reasons to doubt Ling Xiao, they did not dare to continue questioning Ling Xiao at this moment. Lu Guanjie revealed a smile that was uglier than crying, and said, since City Lord Lu and Grandmaster Jiaomu have said so, then it looks like we've really misunderstood. Martial nephew Ma Jun wasn't killed by Ling, young friend. What do you think, Elder Ma? Lu Xiongfei smiled slightly. I must have remembered it wrongly. My grandson Ma Jun was indeed not killed by Ling Xiao. Ma Yan lowered his head and said. He felt that his heart was bleeding. He was so angry that he wanted to go crazy, but he did not dare to vent his anger. Seeing the dejected look on the faces of the all-pleasure sect's disciples, the longevity sect's disciples were filled with excitement and excitement. The other thing is that Ling Xiao killed Lin Haoyu. Although I don't know what happened, I believe in Ling Xiao's character. However, I still trust Ling Xiao's character. I believe that he wouldn't kill Lin Haoyu for no reason. Perhaps when the two of them were competing, the sword has no eyes and the death or injury is up to fate. What do you think, Elder Lin? Lu Xiongfei asked with a smile. When Lin Shan heard this, his body twitched. He almost cursed in his heart. You don't know, but you still say that you believe in Ling Xiao's character? If I continue to say that Ling Xiao is Haoyu's murderer, won't I be humiliating you? Lin Shan could only pinch his nose and say, City Lord Lu is right. It should be that when Ling Xiao and Haoyu were competing, the sword has no eyes and he accidentally killed Haoyu. It's Haoyu's own bad luck. Lin Shan's words were squeezed out from between his teeth. However, the killing intent in his eyes was getting more and more intense. Alright, since that's the case, then Changsun sect and Hehuan sect will bury the hatchet. From now on, don't cause any more trouble because of this. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. Lu Xiongfei smiled slightly, but his voice became stern towards the end. There was even a trace of an unparalleled aura that spread out. Nangong Xian and Lu Guanjie shivered. They could feel Lu Xiongfei's unfathomable cultivation. They bowed and answered at the same time. Seeing that Lu Xiongfei and Jiaomu were on Ling Xiao's side, the people from Hehuan sect naturally wouldn't continue to stay and look for trouble. They all left Changsun sect dejectedly. When they left, they also brought along the dazed Lu Yi. Thank you for today's matter. Ling Xiao glanced at Lu Piapiao and smiled slightly. Why are you thanking me? I didn't do anything. However, I believe that even if we didn't come, you would definitely have a way to deal with today's situation, right? Lu Piapiao smiled with a trace of curiosity in her eyes. Perhaps. Chapter 56. The arrival of Lu Xiongfei and Master Jiao Mu naturally made the entire Changsun sect feel flattered. In addition, Ling Zhao's incident had passed without any mishap. Many disciples were even more elated and honored. Nangong Xian ordered the disciples of Changsun sect to set up a banquet to invite Lu Xiongfei, Master Jiao Mu, and the rest. At the banquet, everyone toasted each other and enjoyed themselves. After it was over, Lu Xiongfei and Ling Xiao went to the bamboo forest behind Jin's pavilion. "Greetings, young master." Lu Xiongfei bowed deeply to Ling Xiao with a respectful expression. "Rise," Ling Xiao said plainly. Ling Xiao had long known Lu Xiongfei's identity. He was an old subordinate of the Demon Lord and could be said to be the Demon Lord's loyal follower. Ling Zhao's monthly resources were also sent to Lu Xiongfei by the Demon Lord's residence in the royal capital. Then, Lu Xiongfei would send them to Changsun Mountain. However, Ling Xiao was too useless in the past, and no one could see any hope. Therefore, other than sending resources to Ling Xiao every month and secretly protecting him, Lu Xiongfei did not have much interaction with Ling Xiao. Young master's talent is unparalleled. You have cultivated to such a level in such a short time. If His Highness knew, he would be overjoyed. Lu Xiongfei stood up with a hint of excitement and shame on his face. He was excited because not only was Ling Xiao not a good-for-nothing, he was actually a one-in-a-million martial arts prodigy. He was ashamed because he had neglected the young master too much all these years. After all, Ling Zhao's talent had disappointed him greatly. "Do you know where my father is now? Why did he suddenly disappear 3 years ago?" Ling Xiao asked. No matter what, if Lu Xiongfei had not secretly taken care of him all these years, he would have been killed countless times. Therefore, he did not blame Lu Xiongfei. Since he had taken over Ling Zhao's physical body, Ling Zhao's matters naturally became his own. The main reason why Ling Xiao was exiled here was because of the Demon Lord's sudden disappearance 3 years ago. "I'm not sure either." Lu Xiongfei smiled bitterly. However, he hesitated and continued, "Although I'm not sure, it might be related to your mother." "My mother?" Ling Xiao was slightly stunned. In the memories of Ling Zhao's original body, didn't his mother pass away long ago? That's right. Young master must be related to the princess consort. Back then, when Wang Fei and Wang Yi met, I happened to know that Wang Fei's identity was very mysterious. Once, when Wang Yi led the army out, he accidentally saved Wang Fei. At that time, Wang Fei seemed to be being pursued. If it wasn't for Wang Yi, Wang Fei would not have been able to escape that calamity. After that, His Highness and Her Highness got to know each other and finally got married and gave birth to you. Lu Xiongfei's eyes revealed a trace of reminiscence as he continued, "She disappeared before you were even a month old." At that time, His Highness seemed to have gone mad. He searched the entire Great Desolation ancient kingdom but couldn't find her. Since then, His Highness had been depressed. Until 3 years ago, His Highness suddenly left the Demon King's residence and no one knew where he went. But I heard that before His Highness left, he received a letter which made him very excited. He hid in his room for 3 days and 3 nights and then left the palace. Ling Xiao was slightly taken aback. He already had some guesses in his heart. His mother, whom he had never met, might be a disciple of a large sect. She only appeared in the Great Desolation ancient kingdom by chance and got together with Demon King Jinren. Something must have happened that caused his mother to leave without saying goodbye. If Demon King Jinren really received a letter when he left 3 years ago, the contents of the letter should be related to his mother. After all, the Great Desolation ancient kingdom was too small. Compared to the vast War God continent, the Great Desolation ancient kingdom was like a drop of water in a river. It was incomparably small. After Demon King Jinren left, it was easy to understand what happened next. Those elders of the family naturally racked their brains to let their descendants inherit the title of Demon King Jinren. Therefore, Ling Xiao naturally became a thorn in everyone's side. If it wasn't for Lu Xiongfei secretly protecting Ling Xiao would have died silently long ago. What is my mother's name? Ling Xiao asked. Her Highness's name is Mu Hanyan. Lu Xiongfei replied. Mu Hanyan. Ling Xiao made a mental note of this name and nodded. Thank you for today's matter, Uncle Lu. Lu Xiongfei was flattered and hurriedly said, Young lord is too polite. This is my duty. Young lord, I have another matter to tell you this time. What is it? In 3 months, young lord will be 16 years old. In the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom, 16 years old is considered an adult. Back then, Lord Jinren arranged a marriage for young lord to the king's little princess. Young lord must marry the little princess after reaching adulthood. Moreover, 3 months later is the day of the Demon King Jinren's mansion's grand competition. I have already received news that the Great Elder has decided to choose the most outstanding disciple of the family on the day of the competition and invite the king to inherit the title of Demon King Jinren. Lu Xiongfei said solemnly. Marry the little princess. I have no interest in that. Although I have no interest in the title of Demon King Jinren, my father's things are not something they can touch as they wish. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and a trace of sharpness appeared in his eyes. Young lord, it is indeed impossible to marry the little princess. Young lord's performance in the past 3 years. Everyone in the royal family has seen it. Naturally, they will not let the little princess marry you. They are just waiting for you to reach adulthood or wait for you to die. Naturally, they will be able to annul the engagement. Moreover, I have heard that the little princess has a purine body and has been accepted as a disciple by an elder of the Sun Moon Star sect. Lu Xiongfei said with a bitter smile. Although the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom was strong, it was naturally nothing compared to a martial holy land like the Sun Moon Star sect. The Sun Moon Star sect is still around? Ling Xiao was slightly stunned. He did not expect to hear a familiar name from Lu Xiongfei. He naturally knew about the Sun Moon Star sect. Speaking of which, he had a deep relationship with it. In that case, it would be interesting. The corners of Ling Xiao's mouth revealed a trace of a smile, and he said, All right, I got it. After I settle the matters of the Changsun sect, I will return to the royal capital. I will not miss the competition in 3 months. Lu Xiongfei kept looking at Ling Xiao. However, Ling Xiao did not seem to be affected by the engagement at all. Only then did he heave a sigh of relief. At the same time, his admiration for Ling Xiao increased. Young people were full of vigor. Who could endure the humiliation of having an engagement annulled? However, looking at Ling Xiao's expression, whether he really did not care or suppressed his anger in the bottom of his heart, it showed that Ling Xiao was not as simple as he seemed on the surface. Bold but not wise, he was an ignorant man. Chapter 57. Young master, I'll be returning to the capital in 2 days. Do you want to come with me? If you go back alone, I'm afraid you'll encounter some mishaps. Lu Xiongfei said sincerely. No need. Uncle Lu, don't worry. I don't care about those useless people. After I'm done with the Changsun sect, I'll naturally return. Ling Xiao said indifferently. Seeing that Ling Xiao had made up his mind, Lu Xiongfei didn't try to persuade him anymore. He smiled and said, Young master, I'll be returning to the capital to report. Pia Piao will follow you. She's been pampered since she was young. If she doesn't serve you well, please forgive her. Lu Pia Piao. Her aptitude is not bad. Don't worry, I'll guide her. Ling Xiao said indifferently. This made Lu Xiongfei feel a little awkward. It was as if he had been seen through. Although Lu Xiongfei didn't know where Ling Xiao had learned such shocking alchemy knowledge, since Master Jiao Mu was willing to take Ling Xiao as his master, it meant that Ling Xiao was indeed extraordinary. Lu Xiongfei naturally had some thoughts of letting Lu Pia Piao follow Ling Xiao and learn from him. But he didn't expect Ling Xiao to see through him at a glance. Lu Xiongfei chuckled and said, "Thank you, young master." "Young master, do you need me to destroy the He Huan sect before I leave to prevent future trouble?" At the end of his sentence, a trace of murderous intent flashed in Lu Xiongfei's eyes. His entire body emitted a powerful aura. At this moment, it was as if he reminded people that Lu Xiongfei was the strongest person in the Longevity City. "No need. If they don't open their eyes, I'll naturally teach them an unforgettable lesson," Ling Xiao said indifferently. Seeing how confident Ling Xiao was, Lu Xiongfei knew that it was useless to persuade him anymore. He smiled bitterly and nodded. The two of them chatted for a while more before Lu Xiongfei took his leave. Not long after, Master Jiaomu also came over. "Greetings, Master." Jiaomu bowed respectfully. "You're full of energy and have reached the critical point. It won't be long before you can break through to the mid-grade alchemy master." Not bad, not bad. Get up." Ling Xiao nodded and said indifferently. Jiaomu's heart trembled. He didn't expect Ling Xiao to be able to tell that his mental strength had reached the peak of the inferior grade alchemy grandmaster with just a glance. Ling Xiao's eyesight was simply unfathomable, causing him to revere Ling Xiao even more. "It's all thanks to the 7 profound treasure pill recipe that Master gave me. I'm confident that when I can refine the best 7 profound treasure pill, I'll be able to break through to the middle grade alchemy grandmaster." Jiaomu chuckled. Only now did he realize how lucky he was to have been able to swallow his pride and acknowledge Ling Xiao as his master. Once he broke through to become a mid-grade alchemy grandmaster, Jiaomu's status would immediately change. One had to know that there were only 2 superior alchemists in the entire Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom. One was the current Imperial Advisor, and the other was the mysterious Pavilion Master of the Spirit Potions Pavilion. Stepping into the ranks of intermediate alchemy grandmasters meant that Jiaomu truly stood among the highest echelons of the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom. "That's right. You should be returning to the royal city with Lu Xiongfei, right? Since that's the case, I have a few things to tell you," Ling Xiao said indifferently. "That's right. Something has happened in the royal city, so I have to rush back." "Master, please give me your orders," Jiaomu respectfully said. "After you return to the royal city, I'll give you the authority to operate the 7 profound treasure pill independently. In addition, I'll give you 2 pill recipes. Try to sell these 3 pills for as much resources as possible. Do your best to collect these things for me." 2 pill formulas and a piece of paper filled with ingredients appeared in Ling Xiao's hands. He passed them to Jiaomu. "This is the 5 profound spirit pill and the 6 profound spirit pill." Jiaomu was shocked and immediately put them away like they were priceless treasures. The 5 profound spirit pill is a superior spirit pill. 1 pill can allow an expert below the spirit transformation realm to unconditionally increase their cultivation by 3 levels. However, each person can only take 1 pill at most. The 6 profound spirit pill can allow an expert at the 9th level of the spirit transformation realm to break through to the dragon tiger realm. I believe that with these 3 pills, you will have a place in the royal city's low-end, mid-end, and high-end pill markets. Only then can you help me find these things," Ling Xiao said indifferently. Ling Xiao said indifferently. These 3 pills were nothing in Ling Xiao's eyes, but they were priceless treasures in Jiaomu's eyes. The 5 profound spirit pill and the 6 profound spirit pill could be said to be simplified versions of the 7 profound treasure pill. However, their effects were very strange and would be very useful to ordinary cultivators. However, when Jiaomu saw the list of materials Ling Xiao handed over, he sucked in a breath of cold air and bitterly smiled. "Master, I'm afraid that even if I search the entire Great Desolation Ancient Country, I might not be able to find all of these heavenly treasures. However, I'll do my best to collect them. Master, please rest assured." The list Ling Xiao gave him contained the best of the 5 elements spirit seeds, the treasures needed to cultivate the 2nd level of the earth dragon body, and some alchemy materials. However, they were all heavenly treasures and would be very difficult to collect. Ling Xiao nodded and said, "Just do your best to collect them. If you can find all of these heavenly treasures, I'll teach you a secret technique to cultivate the mind." A secret technique to cultivate the mind? Jiao Mu exclaimed as his eyes revealed an incredulous look of ecstasy. One had to know that the greatest limiting factor for alchemists was mind power. However, mind power could only be improved by increasing one's cultivation base. It was said that there were some secret techniques to cultivate mind power, but those secret techniques were extremely precious and rare. They were simply unheard of in the Great Desolation ancient country. If Jiao Mu could obtain a secret technique to cultivate mind power, perhaps becoming a superior alchemy master or even a peerless alchemy master would not be a dream. "Master, don't worry. Even if I have to risk my old life, I'll find all of these materials for you." Jiao Mu's eyes surged with excitement as he patted his chest and said resolutely. Ling Xiao, your little maid is awake." At this moment, Lu Piapiao ran over from afar and shouted excitedly. "Shui Wei is awake." Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he moved his feet. His entire body was like a stream of light as he flew towards the Jin's pavilion. In the Jin's pavilion, Shui Wei was wearing a white dress. Her face had a trace of confusion and a faint black light flickered all over her body, causing her to emit a dark aura. "Shui Wei, you're awake." Ling Xiao flew into the Jin's pavilion. After seeing Ling Xiao, her face revealed a happy expression. "Young master. I almost thought that I wouldn't be able to see you again." After seeing Ling Xiao, Shui Wei's eyes suddenly became misty. She threw herself into Ling Xiao's arms. The grievances she had suffered for the past few days could no longer be held back. They turned into sparkling tears and dripped down. "Shui Wei, be good. It's all right now. The people who hurt you were all killed by me." Ling Xiao stroked Shui Wei's hair and comforted her softly. Chapter 58. "Young master, you killed Lin Haoyu." Shui Wei's face paled instantly, and a trace of worry appeared in her eyes. Ling Xiao smiled slightly. Naturally, he knew what Shui Wei was worried about. He comforted her, "Don't worry. I'm the holy son of the longevity sect. Even if I kill Lin Haoyu, that Lin Shan won't dare to do anything to me." Shui Wei nodded as if she understood, and the worry in her eyes subsided. First level of true energy realm? Not bad, not bad. Ling Xiao checked Shui Wei's body again and realized that Shui Wei had already opened her dantian, officially stepping into the true energy realm. Although Shui Wei's dantian wasn't as abnormal as Ling Xiao's, it was still around 400 feet wide, which was considered abnormal. "It's a pity that I don't have the 9 Nether Scripture. Only the 9 Nether Scripture can unleash the full potential of the 9 Nether bloodline. However, the Longevity Supreme Scripture is peaceful, so Shui Wei should cultivate it first. If there's a chance to find the 9 Nether Scripture in the future, it won't be too late to cultivate it again." Ling Xiao thought in his heart. After awakening the 9 Nether bloodline, Shui Wei's cultivation would definitely increase by leaps and bounds. At that time, even Ling Xiao would be inferior to her. After comforting Shui Wei for a while, she fell into a deep sleep. Ling Xiao walked out of the Ling Xiao pavilion. Nangong Qing stood in the bamboo forest in a white dress. Her temperament was cold and extraordinary. How does the sect leader plan to deal with Lin Shan? Ling Xiao asked indifferently. City Lord Lu and Master Jiao Mu came to Changsan sect this time and let everyone see the power behind you. Therefore, the elders who sided with Lin Shan all expressed their loyalty to my father. However, Lin Shan is a grand elder after all, and his cultivation is very high. If we push him too far, it'll be easy for him to do something desperate. My father only suspended his position and let him reflect on his mistakes in seclusion for 3 months. Nangong Qing said slowly. She looked at Ling Xiao with a complicated expression. She didn't expect that the matter that threatened the entire Changsun sect would be resolved so easily by Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao seemed to be becoming more and more mysterious, making her more and more curious. Just reflecting on his mistakes in seclusion. Forget it, if he knows his place, then forget it. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. Ling Xiao said indifferently, with a sharp glint of light in his eyes. Forget about Lin Shan. Now that he doesn't have anyone to support him, he can't do it alone. You, on the other hand, have been in the limelight this time. Moreover, everyone in the all-pleasure sect has seen your talent. They don't dare to touch you openly for fear that they will use some underhanded means to harm you. Therefore, Father told me to tell you to stay in the sect as much as possible and not go out. Nangong Qing said slowly. Underhanded means? If they want to die, I will teach them an unforgettable lesson. Ling Xiao sneered, exuding a proud and aloof aura. You should restrain yourself a little. Your talent is indeed very high, but you must know that there is always someone better than you. There are countless geniuses in this world, and your cultivation is still too low. Nangong Qing rubbed her forehead and couldn't help but remind Ling Xiao when she saw how arrogant he was. My cultivation is low, but your cultivation isn't low at all. As my maid, you have to fulfill your duty. My safety will be in your hands from now on. Ling Xiao's unbridled gaze landed on Nangong Qing as he teased. Who is your maid? Don't talk nonsense. Nangong Qing's face immediately turned red, somewhat flustered and exasperated. Ling Xiao smiled slightly and said, Why? Going back on your word? When Lu Piapiao spoke, you tacitly agreed. Who tacitly agreed? I was too embarrassed to expose you and gave you face. Nangong Qing retorted somewhat stutteringly. She didn't know why, but when she saw Ling Xiao, her clear and pure heart would ripple. In the end, she was angered by Ling Xiao until her teeth itched. Being my maid, you will discover that this is your honor. When I step onto the peak, you will discover that you can see the scenery that you can't see in your life. Ling Xiao said meaningfully, his eyes revealing a trace of vicissitudes and heroism. In a daze, Nangong Qing seemed to feel that the youth in front of her had become a supreme powerhouse who looked down on the world. That kind of natural aura made her somewhat waver. Perhaps, being his maid wasn't something that was hard to accept. Bah, what am I thinking? Nangong Qing shook her head, and her face revealed a trace of shyness. You are now at the 9th level of the spirit transformation realm, and you cultivate the 7 stars transform moon sword. If you can cultivate the 7 stars transform moon sword to perfection, then when you break through to the dragon tiger realm, you will be able to comprehend sword intent with the combination of yin and yang. So, don't break through to the dragon tiger realm so quickly. Ling Xiao looked at Nangong Qing and smiled slightly. Sword intent? Nangong Qing's eyes revealed a trace of yearning. She smiled bitterly and said, How can it be so easy? I have cultivated the 7 stars transform moon sword for 3 years, and I have only reached the small success stage of 1 sword with 3 stars. I don't know how long it will take to reach the large success stage, let alone the legendary perfection stage of 1 sword with 7 stars. The 7 stars transform moon sword was a low-grade earth-level martial art, and it was very difficult to comprehend. 1 sword with 1 star was the entry level, 1 sword with 3 stars was the small success stage, 1 sword with 6 stars was the large success stage, and 1 sword with 7 stars was the perfection stage. This martial art used true qi to transform into the power of the stars. It had the extreme speed of the stars, but also the weight of the stars. A sword strike was like a meteor, and its power was unparalleled. When the 7 stars transform moon sword was cultivated to the extreme, 7 stars would turn into a full moon. This was the legendary full moon sword intent. Once the full moon sword intent was used, it would be invincible and kill everything in its path. People like Nan Gongqing and Lin Haoyu were very talented, and their cultivation was also very strong, but they could only be considered as geniuses. Only by comprehending the concept would they be invincible among their peers. Concept was a domain that belonged to the Grandmaster realm. The terrifying battle power it could unleash was not something that ordinary people could imagine. With your current cultivation, it will be difficult for you to comprehend sword intent before the Dragon Tiger realm, but if you want to cultivate the 7 stars transform moon sword to perfection, it is not impossible. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Really? Nan Gongqing's eyes lit up. Of course, let me borrow your sword. Ling Xiao stretched out his hand, and the silver sword behind Nan Gongqing was suddenly unsheathed. It fell into Ling Xiao's hand like a flowing light. Buzz! Ling Xiao held the sword in one hand, and his white robe fluttered in the wind. He looked very handsome. He flicked his finger, and the long sword emitted a crisp sound. The sound of the sword is crisp, and the spiritual qi is in harmony. It is indeed a good sword. Ling Xiao praised. In his opinion, the Silver Moon Sword was considered a top-grade spiritual weapon. Most importantly, it was faintly compatible with the sword intent of the 7 stars transform moon sword. It was very rare. Watch carefully. Ling Xiao said, and his aura changed drastically. Boom! Unparalleled sword intent shot up to the sky. At this moment, Ling Xiao seemed to have transformed into a peerless sword king. The starlight in the sky shone down, and it was like the purest sword radiance, forming a sword realm. Chapter 59. Clear Sword Will. Grass, trees, mountains, and rocks can all be used as swords. This is the realm of sword will. Nan Gongqing's heart trembled. Although she had long heard that Ling Xiao had already comprehended the concept of fist, she was even more shocked when she saw that even Ling Xiao's sword technique had reached the realm of sword intent. Ling Xiao moved. Swoosh! 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 Several sword radiances flashed. The silver moon sword in Ling Xiao's hand seemed to have a life of its own. Sword shadows filled the sky, overflowing with cold light. Starlight sprinkled down from the sky. Ling Xiao's innate true qi filled the air and turned into sharp sword radiances, condensing on the silver moon sword. Buzz! The silver moon sword buzzed and trembled. The tip of the sword was dazzling. A star appeared, increasing the power of the silver moon sword. The formless sword realm seemed to expand. But this was just the beginning. As the sword radiances in Ling Xiao's hand became faster and faster, the stars condensed on the silver moon sword. Vaguely, Ling Xiao seemed to be holding 7 stars in his hand. His figure was elegant, like a divine dragon. Boom! When the 7 stars appeared at the same time, Ling Xiao's aura also rose to the extreme. A bright full moon appeared behind Ling Xiao. He stood with the sword in his hand. The sword radiance in his eyes seemed to pierce through the void. A dazzling sword radiance shot towards the mountain wall in the distance. At this moment, Ling Xiao seemed to have become a Nangong Xian in Nan Gongqing's eyes. As he moved, he had an invincible aura. The mountain wall in the distance exploded. A sword mark that was dozens of feet long and a few feet deep appeared on the mountain wall. It did not look like a sword from the mortal world. Full Moon Sword Will. This is the Full Moon Sword Will. Nan Gongqing murmured to herself. Her eyes were full of splendor. In her eyes, although Ling Xiao's 7 stars transform moon sword was not as powerful as Nan Gongxian's, the pure sword will was even more powerful than Nan Gongxian's. She faintly felt as if she was being pulled into the sword realm. 7 stars transform moon sword. The intent comes first, the qi comes second, the heart comes first, the sword comes second, the star comes first, the full moon comes last. The heart contains the grand intent of the sun and the moon. Naturally, the changes of the stars will. 7 stars transform moon sword. Ling Xiao sheathed his sword. His face was rosy, as if he had not expended any energy at all. This caused Nan Gongqing to be shocked. The 7-star transforming moon sword was an earth-level low-grade martial art. Even if Nan Gongqing used it once, her true qi would be almost completely depleted. However, Ling Xiao didn't seem to be affected at all. Naturally, she didn't know how terrifying the sky-swallowing secret technique was. The true qi that the 7 stars transforming moon sword consumed was replenished almost instantly by Ling Xiao. Nan Gongqing's mind was completely immersed in Ling Xiao's words. Intention comes first, qi comes second, heart comes first, sword comes second, Nan Gongqing muttered to herself. Her eyes glowed brighter and brighter. In the end, she leaped up and the silver moon sword in Ling Xiao's hand began to dance in the bamboo forest. Nan Gongqing was different from Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao unsheathed his sword. The sword was unstoppable, like a shooting star from outer space. It was unstoppable. He was like a peerless sword god, emitting an unparalleled sharpness. On the other hand, Nan Gongqing's clothes fluttered in the wind. Her face was beautiful, like a fairy from the moon palace. The sword light was elegant and peerless, overflowing with cold light. It was like dense starlight that contained murderous intent. The appearance of Nan Gongqing seemed to have undergone a baptism. The sword light became more exquisite and the sword light converged. In the end, the 4th star was formed outside the 3rd star. 4 stars in one sword. Nan Gongqing's sword aura also became sharper. In the end, when she kept her sword, the cold aura on her body became even more intense. It was as if her entire person had merged with the starlight. Not bad, not bad. 4 stars in one sword. At this rate, it won't be long before you can reach the perfection stage of 7 stars in one sword. Ling Xiao smiled. Nan Gongqing's comprehension was higher than he had imagined. Compared to you, I'm still far behind. I really don't know how a freak like you cultivates. Nan Gongqing laughed. She was naturally very happy that the 7 stars transforming moon sword had improved. Naturally, it's because I'm invincible. Those so-called geniuses compared to me are like fireflies to the moon. They can't be compared to me. Ling Xiao laughed. His voice was incomparably confident. You're not modest at all. Nan Gongqing shook her head and chuckled while covering her mouth. Cultivate well. If you are able to comprehend the full moon sword essence when you break through to the dragon tiger realm, I will teach you a heaven-class sword Dao martial art. Being my maid, an earth-class lower-class martial art is too shabby, your highness. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Heaven-class sword Dao martial art? You're bragging. Nan Gongqing teased. The entire Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom might not even have a heaven-class martial art. Even in a martial Dao holy land like the Sun Moon Star sect, a heaven-class martial art was a treasure of the sect. Although she felt that it was ridiculous, Nan Gongqing's heart actually gave birth to a kind of expectation. After all, this young man had created too many miracles. He could even find the longevity supreme scripture. Perhaps a heaven-class martial art was really not a dream. Ling Xiao imparted some of the cultivation insights of the 7 stars transforming moon sword. Nan Gongqing returned as if she had received a treasure. Ling Xiao spent the rest of the time leisurely. His cultivation had reached true energy realm level 9, but he was not in a hurry to break through. Instead, he polished his true energy while cultivating his martial arts. In his spare time, he would guide Lu Chuanxiong and the rest in their cultivation. The true energy realm was the foundation of martial arts. Ling Xiao naturally would not be in a hurry to break through. The stronger the foundation, the more profound the accumulation, the further he could go in the future. In terms of martial arts, Ling Xiao chose 3 martial arts for himself. The Ultimate Earth Class Vajra Demon Fist, the Ultimate Earth Class Immeasurable Light and Darkness Sword, and the Ultimate Earth Class Martial Art, Cloud Dragon's 9 Changes. Although these 3 martial arts were only Earth-grade peerless martial arts, they were the most suitable for Ling Xiao to cultivate. Moreover, these 3 martial arts all had subsequent martial arts, which were enough for Ling Xiao to cultivate to the Grandmaster realm or even the Celestial Being realm. The Vajra Demon Fist was a Buddhist martial art. It used the Vajra fist intent to suppress demons. When cultivated to the extreme, one's fists could shatter mountains and rivers, and one's feet could split the earth. The Immeasurable Light and Darkness Sword was actually 2 sets of sword techniques, the Immeasurable Light Sword and the Immeasurable Darkness Sword. The combination of light and darkness was not weaker than a normal heaven-class martial art. The Cloud Dragon's 9 Changes was a top-class martial art. When cultivated to the extreme, one could transform into a cloud dragon and move unhindered between heaven and earth. Not only was one's speed extremely fast, one could also borrow the power of heaven and earth to hide in the clouds. It was very mysterious. During this half a month, the Longevity sect was very peaceful. Ling Xiao's cultivation was still at True Energy Realm level 9, but it had been polished to perfection. Faint golden true energy flowed in his qi si, and it was dense with multicolored light. He could break through to the spirit transformation realm at any time. As for the Vajra Demon Fist, the Immeasurable Light and Darkness Sword, and the Cloud Dragon's 9 Changes, Ling Xiao had also cultivated to the initial stage. After all, Ling Xiao had already comprehended the power of concept. Even if the cultivation of Earth-class martial arts was incomparably difficult, it was nothing to Ling Xiao. Although Ling Xiao's cultivation was still at True Energy Realm level 9, his combat strength had already reached an extremely terrifying level. 3 Ultimate Earth-class martial arts, Flood Dragon's Body, Sky-Devouring Spirit Seed, and the Violent Dragon Divine Ability that could double the explosive power. Even if he faced a Dragon Tiger Realm expert, Ling Xiao was confident that he could win. Chapter 60. On this day, Ling Xiao had just woken up from his cultivation state when he heard that Nangong Xian was looking for him. The sky was just beginning to brighten and the Longevity Hall was brightly lit. The atmosphere was heavy. When Ling Xiao arrived at the Longevity Hall, he saw many familiar figures. Nangong Xian, the First Elder, the Enforcement Elder, and Deng Tianda were all present. Nangong Qing, Jian Wuk, Zhue Zhen, Deng Yalan, and the other core disciples were also present. What's wrong? Ling Xiao's gaze shifted as he asked softly. Looking at everyone's expressions, could it be that something big had happened that concerned the survival of the Longevity sect? Nangong Qing explained, Ling Xiao, something has happened to our Longevity sect's spiritual stone mine. Spiritual stone mine? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. No wonder everyone's expressions were so heavy. The reason why the 3 great sects were called the 3 great sects was because each of them had a spiritual stone mine. They could produce spiritual stones endlessly for their disciples to cultivate. It could be said that the spiritual stone mine was their lifeblood. If something happened to the mine, the Longevity sect would be in real danger. What's the situation? Ling Xiao asked in a low voice. Our Longevity sect's spiritual stone mine is located in a valley in the Fearsome Beast mountain range. It's only a few hundred miles away from the sect. Usually, there would be 2 elders stationed at the mine to escort the spiritual stones back to the sect once every 3 days. However, no one came back 3 days ago. The sect leader sent out 3 batches of people but none of them returned. The first elder sighed and said with a solemn expression. After the first elder obtained Ling Xiao's 7 profound treasure pill, his cultivation had completely stabilized at the first level of the Grandmaster realm. It could be said that he had given the Longevity sect a huge boost in strength. Could it be the all-pleasure sect's doing? Ling Xiao's gaze turned cold and murderous. If it was really the all-pleasure sect's doing, then they really deserved to die. City Lord Lu and Grandmaster Jiao Mu have already rushed back to the capital yesterday. Nangong Xian said indifferently. It didn't seem to have anything to do with this, but it caused everyone's expression to turn cold. 3 days ago, the Hehuan sect had admitted defeat because Lu Xiongfei and Grandmaster Jiao Mu were standing behind Ling Xiao. If these two had left Longevity City, then everyone could faintly feel that there was a conspiracy behind the matter of the Spirit Stone Mine. Could it be that All Pleasure sect wanted to make a move on Longevity sect? At the thought of this, the faces of the disciples turned ugly. The most important thing now is to determine what happened to the Spirit Stone Mine. It might not be Hehuan sect's doing. What plans does the sect leader have? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he looked at Nangong Xian. Nangong Xian nodded and said, Ling Xiao is right. This matter might not have been done by the Hehuan sect. I've decided to have the Great Elder take some disciples to investigate. If it has nothing to do with the Hehuan sect, then we'll find a way to solve the crisis of the Spirit Stone Mine. If it was really done by the Hehuan sect, then we won't rest until we're dead. A murderous look flashed across Nangong Xian's face, and lightning seemed to shoot out from his eyes. Sect leader is right. In order to prevent the All Pleasure sect from luring the tiger away from the mountain, the sect leader had to stay at the Changxing sect. I would like to apply to investigate the Spirit Stone Mine. Ling Xiao nodded and said. You want to go to the Spirit Stone Mine? No. Before Nangong Xian could say anything, Nangong Qing objected. Seeing that everyone's eyes were on her, Nangong Qing felt a little anxious. Her face turned slightly red, but she still said, the Hehuan sect hates you to the bone. If it was really done by the Hehuan sect, maybe the Spirit Stone Mine is now a trap. You going there is no different from walking into a trap. The Great Elder also nodded and said, that's right. Ling Xiao, you're the holy son of our Changxing sect. Your status is precious, so you can't go into danger. It's enough for me to take some disciples. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and said, a trap by the Hehuan sect? I don't care about a mere Hehuan sect. Don't worry, sect leader. You should know my combat strength. I'll kill anyone below the Grandmaster realm. If the Hehuan sect's people don't open their eyes, I don't mind teaching them an unforgettable lesson. Ling Xiao was only at the 9th level of the True Energy realm, but he said that he would kill anyone below the Grandmaster realm. If an ordinary disciple said something like this, they would have been treated as crazy. However, Ling Xiao's words made Nangong Xian fall into deep thought. When Ling Xiao killed Lin Haoyu, he was only at the 3rd level of the True Energy realm. Now that he was at the 9th level of the True Energy realm, how terrifying would his combat strength be? This guy's combat strength couldn't be measured by cultivation. Moreover, there weren't many Grandmaster realm experts in the Hehuan sect. With Dragon Tiger realm experts, Ling Xiao's combat strength shouldn't be a problem. Seeing how determined Ling Xiao was, Nangong Xian could only agree. In the end, the people who were selected to go to the Spirit Stone Mine were the Great Elder, 2 elders at the 6th level of the Dragon Tiger realm, Ling Xiao, Nangong Qing, Jian Wuk, Sui Zhen, and Deng Yalan. Deng Yalan's cultivation had broken through to the 2nd level of the Spirit Transformation realm. Moreover, his small Vajra fist had been cultivated to the realm of greater mastery. There's no time to lose. Let's go now. The Great Elder said to everyone and immediately took the lead to leave the Longevity Hall. Behind him, Ling Xiao, Nangong Qing, and the others followed. Each of them used their light body technique and rushed down the Longevity Mountain. Even Grandmaster realm experts couldn't fly. Only those who had reached the Heaven realm and comprehended the realm of one with the heavens could fly. However, although the Great Elder, Ling Xiao, and the others couldn't fly, their true energy was vigorous. They used their light body technique to hasten their journey. Their speed was comparable to that of a galloping horse as they rushed towards the Vicious Beast mountain range. Among everyone, Ling Xiao's cultivation was the weakest. The Great Elder was originally worried that Ling Xiao wouldn't be able to keep up. However, he soon realized that Ling Xiao was following behind him very casually. It didn't seem like he was struggling at all. Ling Xiao's Xiantian Zhen Qi permeated the air and turned into clouds and mist around him. Every step Ling Xiao took covered a distance of dozens of feet. He looked very confident and relaxed, as if he was riding on the clouds. This was naturally the 9 appearances of the Cloud Dragon. Although Ling Xiao had only cultivated it to the small success realm, his speed was faster than ordinary Dragon Tiger realm experts. Nangong Qing and the others were also very surprised. However, when they thought of Ling Xiao's mysteriousness, they didn't say anything. They just tried their best to follow Ling Xiao. The Vicious Beast mountain range was very quiet. There were no vicious beasts roaming around. The quiet atmosphere even made everyone panic a little. After a few hours, they were only about 20 miles away from the spiritual stone mine. The Great Elder motioned for everyone to stop and rest to recover their true energy. After such a long journey, everyone's true energy had been consumed by more than half. It was very likely that there would be a fierce battle later. They had to maintain sufficient physical strength. Nangong Qing and the others took out spiritual stones and began to recover their true energy. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed and said softly, "Great Elder, I'll go to the spiritual stone mine to explore the situation inside. We know nothing about it now. If we go rashly, it's very likely that we'll be ambushed." "You're going alone. It's too dangerous." The Great Elder frowned and immediately refused. "Don't worry, Great Elder. You saw the body technique I used just now. Even a Dragon Tiger realm expert can't catch up with me. If the situation changes, I'll retreat in time. You all wait here for the time being. I'll be back soon." Chapter 61. Ling Xiao used the Cloud Dragon 9 transformation technique and turned into a cloud of mist. He concealed his aura to the maximum and sped towards the spiritual stone mine. The spiritual stone mine of the Changsan sect was located in the valley between the 2 mountains. It was also known as the Twin Peaks Spiritual Stone Mine. The place was filled with mountains and ancient trees. It was considered a paradise. However, it was deep in the fearsome Beast Mountain range and was not safe. Therefore, the Changsan sect only built a base to collect spiritual stones. This spiritual stone mine could provide the Changsan sect with almost 100,000 high-grade spiritual stones every year. It was enough to sustain the Changsan sect's huge expenditure. If this spiritual stone mine fell into the hands of the Hehuan sect or the demonic palace, the consequences would be unimaginable. Although Ling Xiao was not sure what happened to the spiritual stone mine, he instinctively felt that it had something to do with the Hehuan sect. Ling Xiao did not choose to take the usual route to the spiritual stone mine. Instead, he carefully climbed the Twin Peaks. The Twin Peaks were extremely steep and uninhabited. It was extremely difficult to climb. If someone really set an ambush in the spiritual stone mine, Ling Xiao would naturally be able to escape unscathed. Ling Xiao passed through a forest and finally arrived at a cliff halfway up the mountain. Below was the spiritual stone mine. Ling Xiao carefully poked his head out to take a look. He realized that there was no one in the spiritual stone mine. There were no disciples guarding it. There were only a few deep caves without a trace of light. However, with Ling Xiao's extremely strong mental strength, he could acutely sense a faint sense of danger. There really is an ambush in the spiritual stone mine. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he slowly descended along the uneven cliff. His body was extremely nimble like a monkey. He climbed the cliff as though it was flat ground and did not make a single sound. The withered pine trees and vines on the cliff perfectly blocked Ling Xiao's body. Even if there were people in the spiritual stone mine below, they would not be able to discover Ling Xiao's whereabouts. When Ling Xiao was a few hundred feet away from the spiritual stone mine below, he heard a soft conversation coming from an ancient tree to his left. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he sneaked over. It was a huge ancient tree with luxuriant leaves and a dome that reached the sky. Two youths in yin-yang Taoist robes stood on the treetop. Their sharp eyes constantly scanned the surroundings. Senior Brother Wang, we don't have to be so vigilant, do we? The Long Life sect's people are all a bunch of trash. If they dare to come, the few elders will take care of them directly. One of the youths at the first level of the spirit transformation realm said softly. Junior Brother Zhang, you cannot let your guard down. The elders, the vice sect leader, and the people from the demonic palace are all at a crucial moment. It won't be long before they can break through the restrictions of the cave. At this moment, we cannot afford to make any mistakes. We must guard against the longevity sect sending people here again. After all, the Changsun sect also has Grand Master realm experts. Senior Brother Wang was already at the third level of the spirit transformation realm. Oh. Junior Brother Zhang nodded, rolled his eyes, and said with a smile, Senior Brother Wang, what do you think is in that cave mansion? Will there be many precious spirit tools, spirit pills, and peerless divine arts? I wonder if we'll have a chance to go in and search for treasures once the restrictions are broken. I'm not too sure either. I only heard the elders say that the cave mansion seems to belong to a heaven realm expert. The people from the longevity sect are all a bunch of idiots, guarding a mountain of treasures without knowing it. Now we're benefiting from it. Don't think too much, just do your own thing. When the time comes, there will be benefits for both of us. Senior Brother Wang warned. On a cliff several dozen feet away from them, Ling Xiao, who was hidden in the clouds, heard the conversation between the two of them, and his eyes flickered. A Heaven Realm Expert's cave mansion. I didn't expect the All-Pleasure sect and the Demonic Palace to collude this time. But how did they find a Heaven Realm Expert's cave mansion in the Spirit Stone Mine? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He felt that things were a little troublesome. Hearing the words of the two All-Pleasure sect disciples, the All-Pleasure sect and the Demonic Palace had sent out a lot of experts this time. There should be more than one Grand Master realm expert. As for the treasures in the Heaven Realm Expert's cave mansion, Ling Xiao didn't care about them at all. What a joke. With his reputation as the Heaven-Devouring Supreme, how could he care about the treasures of a Heaven Realm expert? In Ling Xiao's memory, any random martial art was a heaven-shaking supreme divine art. As for spirit pills and spirit weapons, Ling Xiao himself was a supreme expert. At most, there would be some treasured weapons and spirit pills in the Heaven Realm Expert's cave mansion, which wasn't much. What Ling Xiao cared about the most was finding a way to save the disciples of the longevity sect. Thinking of this, Ling Xiao's eyes flashed and he quietly flew toward the ancient tree. It was as if a cloud had floated by and a gust of wind blew. Ling Xiao's figure instantly appeared on top of the ancient tree. He pointed at the air and a sword of energy shot out. It instantly landed on the disciple at the first layer of the spirit transformation realm. Finger-flicking divine art, a low-grade earth realm martial art. This martial art was to compress the true qi in the body into a sharp energy sword and shoot it through the 10 meridians of the hands. Its power was unparalleled and it could kill people without them noticing. However, Ling Xiao didn't kill him. Instead, he pointed at the acupoint of the disciple at the first layer of the spirit transformation realm and froze him. Who is it? Senior Brother Wang was very alert. The moment Ling Xiao made his move, he reacted. His eyes flashed with a cold light and he coldly shouted. When he turned around and saw that Ling Xiao was only at the true qi realm, he was stunned for a moment. Then, his eyes revealed a trace of a sneer. People from the longevity sect? A 9th layer of the true qi realm dares to come and die. He abruptly struck out with his palm. Waves of air billowed and shook the ancient trees. A gigantic palm print enveloped Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's eyes turned cold. He didn't dodge and also threw out a punch. The fierce fist force was like the angry eyes of King Kong as it suddenly collided with Senior Brother Wang's body. Bang! Senior brother Wang spat out a mouthful of blood as if he was struck by lightning. However, before he could open his mouth to shout, Ling Xiao's fist landed on his lower abdomen and scattered all the true qi in his body. Just as he was about to desperately call for help, a cold light pressed against his chest. If you don't want to die, then shut up. Ling Xiao's cold voice echoed in his ears. Senior brother Wang's body trembled and he immediately became well-behaved. Although the fight between Ling Xiao and senior brother Wang ended in a few breaths of time, there was still some movement that alarmed the people below. Wang Bo, what happened? Two young men in black appeared from a giant rock below. Their eyes were cold and their demonic aura was monstrous. Chapter 62. Speak. Ling Xiao pressed the cold light on senior brother Wang's chest, hinting for him to speak. Senior brother Wang was sweating profusely, but he could only poke his head out from the dense foliage. He squeezed out an ugly smile and said, "Senior brothers, I accidentally fell down just now. I'm fine. Be careful. If anything happens, both of us will have to bear the consequences." The vigilance on the two black-robed youths' faces dissipated slightly as they said coldly, "Yes, yes, yes, I'll remember." Senior brother Wang said submissively. A look of disdain flashed across the eyes of the two demonic palace disciples as they hid behind the huge rock in a flash. How many people are in the spiritual stone mine below? What are their cultivations? Tell me everything clearly. Otherwise, I don't mind killing you right now. Ling Xiao's voice was indifferent, without a trace of emotion. Senior brother Wang shuddered and said hurriedly, "Don't kill me, I'll tell you everything. In the spirit stone mine below, there is our all-pleasure sect's vice-sect leader, Lu Guanjie, as well as 5 dragon tiger realm elders and a dozen disciples. The demonic palace also sent a vice-palace master, Guang, as well as 5 dragon tiger realm elders and a dozen disciples. We found a heaven-tier expert's cave dwelling in the spirit stone mine, but there is a powerful restriction outside the cave dwelling. Lu Guanjie and Guang are currently breaking the restriction with the other elders." Without needing Ling Xiao to say anything, Wang Bo had already told him everything. It turned out that there were spies from the Hehuan sect and the demonic palace in the spiritual stone mine. When the disciples of the Changsun sect were digging for spiritual stones, they had just found a heaven realm expert's cave. Before they could report it to the sect, the Hehuan sect and the demonic palace found out. They immediately sent out grandmasters to lock up all the disciples of the Changsun sect. The 3 waves of disciples that the Changsun sect sent out over the past 3 days were also captured and locked up in an abandoned mine. There were a total of 8 disciples guarding the spiritual stone mine. They were all hidden in secret places and had set up traps. As long as the people of the Changsun sect came, they would be attacked and suppressed. Are they all still here? It's fine as long as you're here. Ling Xiao heaved a sigh of relief. He was most afraid that the Hehuan sect and demonic palace would kill the longevity sect's disciples. Ling Xiao interrogated Wang Bo again, revealing the positions of the other disciples. Then, he knocked Wang Bo and junior brother Zhang unconscious. Ling Xiao's first target was the 2 demonic palace disciples behind the huge rock. The cloud dragon's 9 transformations was extremely miraculous. It could allow Ling Xiao to become one with his surroundings, and the heaven-devouring secret technique could restrain Ling Xiao's aura to the extreme, making him seem like a lifeless rock. He sneaked to the back of the huge rock and activated his spirit-flicking divine ability. 2 chi swords were as fast as lightning and instantly froze the 2 demonic palace disciples. Then, he knocked them unconscious. Ling Xiao used the same trick again and knocked all 8 disciples unconscious. Without making any noise, he had removed all the spies of the all-pleasure sect and demonic palace. Let's save them first. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and he turned into a faint stream of light, darting into the abandoned mine. The spiritual stone mine was extremely dark, but with Ling Xiao's mental strength, he could sense that there was life in the abandoned mine. As expected, after he passed through the crisscrossing tunnels, he saw a huge cave in front of him. There were burning torches hanging on the surrounding walls, and a white-robed and black-robed youth were sitting cross-legged in the middle of the cave. In the cave, there were dozens of weak figures. All of them were chained up by huge metal chains and looked to be riddled with injuries. It was obvious that they had suffered a great deal of torture. They were all disciples of the longevity sect. Who's there? Even though Ling Xiao had tried his best to restrain his aura, he was still discovered by the two youths the moment he appeared in the cave. The person who wants your lives. Ling Xiao sneered. He had no intention of hiding and charged towards the two youths. People from the longevity sect? A mere true energy realm cultivator dares to speak so arrogantly? You're courting death. The black-robed youth sneered as a black demonic aura surged from his body. He threw a punch at Ling Xiao. This punch was accompanied by a violent explosion of Xiantian True Qi. It formed a huge fist print in the void and suddenly fell towards Ling Xiao. Lesser Demon Subduing Fist. Ling Xiao recognized it at a glance. This black-robed youth at the 6th level of the Spirit Transformation Realm was using the Lesser Demon Subduing Fist. Vajra Demon Subduing Fist, kill. Ling Xiao's gaze was piercingly cold. His Jiao Dragon's body instantly exploded. He punched out, and his blood qi surged. His aura soared as though he had transformed into a Jiao Dragon. His unparalleled physical strength exploded, and he directly used the Vajra Demon Fist. How could the Lesser Demon Subduing Fist, a mere black high-level martial art, compare to the power of a peerless earth-level martial art? Boom! The black-robed young man's expression changed drastically when the two fists collided. An incomparably violent force directly surged into his body, causing him to spit out a mouthful of blood. He flew backwards and violently smashed into the tough tunnel in the distance. Ling Xiao didn't give him any chance to react. He moved his feet and threw another punch at him. Brat, you're courting death. At this moment, the white-robed youth finally reacted. He didn't expect Ling Xiao to injure the black-robed youth with a single punch. He immediately unsheathed his long sword and a sharp sword qi slashed towards Ling Xiao. Whoosh! Ling Xiao didn't take it head-on. His body moved at an unbelievable angle, and a sword qi shot out from his finger, instantly freezing the black-robed youth in place. Now, it's your turn. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed and landed on the white-robed youth. The white-robed youth was shocked. He didn't know why, but when he saw this young man who was only at the true energy realm, he felt an incomparable sense of fear. Brat, you're dead. The white-robed youth said coldly. He actually turned around and ran out of the tunnel without hesitation. As long as he left the mine, he would notify the experts from the He Huan sect and Ling Xiao would be dead for sure. You're only running now. It's too late. Ling Xiao's body flashed, and like a ghost, he appeared behind the white-robed youth in an instant. He then threw out a Vajra Subduing Fist, and a monstrous fist force enveloped the white-robed youth. Rumble. After a few rounds, the white-robed youth was severely injured by Ling Xiao. He spat out a mouthful of blood and was sent flying backwards. He was then frozen by Ling Xiao's divine flicking finger. Although it only took a few breaths to deal with the black-robed youth and the white-robed youth, Ling Xiao had to use all his means. Chapter 63. At this moment, the disciples of the Changsun sect who were imprisoned finally saw Ling Xiao. You're the saint. The saint is here to save us. Senior and junior brothers, we are saved. Ha ha ha. I knew the sect wouldn't leave us behind. The eyes of the disciples of the Changsun sect who were imprisoned lit up when they recognized Ling Xiao. Their eyes were filled with excitement. You're Ling Xiao's saint. You have such terrifying talent at such a young age. Our Changsun sect has a successor. An old man with disheveled hair sat in the middle of the crowd. His turbid eyes shone brightly as he exclaimed. This must be the spiritual stone's elder. I'm here to save everyone under the orders of the sect leader. Don't worry, we'll make them pay back what the all-pleasure sect and demonic palace have done to you. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. This old man with disheveled hair had reached the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm. He should be the elder who was guarding the spiritual stone mine. Everyone had forgotten his real name and only called him the spiritual stone's elder. Kacha. Ling Xiao found the keys on the black-robed and white-robed young men and unlocked the chains on everyone. It's useless. Holy Sun, Lu Guanjie and Guang have joined forces to place true qi seals on our bodies. Now that our cultivations have been sealed, we are no different from ordinary people. Even if we walk, we won't be able to go far. Holy Sun, you don't need to worry about us. You should hurry up and leave. Otherwise, when the experts from All Pleasure Sect and Demonic Palace find out, you won't be able to escape. The spiritual stone's elder sighed and said slowly. That's right. Saint, you're the hope of our Changsun sect. Your life is much more precious than ours. Nothing must happen to you. Yes, Saint, hurry up and leave. Saint, remember to kill a few more of the All Pleasure Sect and Demonic Palace's bastards for us. Even if we die, it'll be worth it. Many disciples of the Changsun sect spoke out. Their faces were filled with sincerity and anxiety as they tried to persuade Ling Xiao to leave. Looking at everyone's gazes, Ling Xiao felt a sense of warmth in his heart. What nonsense are you talking about? If we're leaving, we'll leave together. You guys treat me as your saint. How can I abandon you? Isn't it just the seal set by the All Pleasure Sect and Demonic Palace? How can it stop me? Ling Xiao laughed heartily and grabbed Elder Spirit Stone's hand without giving him a chance to explain. The heaven-devouring spirit seed trembled slightly as a surge of heaven-devouring true qi flowed into Elder Spirit Stone's body. Saint, it's useless. This kind of seal is extremely complicated. Without the cultivation of a grandmaster, it's impossible to break it. Elder Spirit Stones laughed bitterly. He wanted to stop Ling Xiao, but in the next moment, his body trembled. His eyes were filled with disbelief. In his Dantian Qi Si, a ball of milky white genuine qi and a ball of black devil qi intertwined, completely sealing his qi si. However, when Ling Xiao's faint golden heaven-devouring genuine qi surged over, it was like an emperor, causing the ball of sealing power to tremble. In the end, a majestic suction force came, and the sealing power was directly devoured by the heaven-devouring true qi. In just a moment, the sealing power disappeared completely. Elder. Thank you, Saint. The spiritual stone's elder's face was full of shock and excitement. He bowed deeply to Ling Xiao. There's no need for that. Let's get out of here as soon as possible. Ling Xiao smiled. His body trembled and the golden heaven-devouring spirit seed exploded. It turned into dozens of golden streams of qi and rushed into the bodies of the Changsun sect disciples. Not long after, the seal in the bodies of the disciples was completely devoured by the heaven-devouring spirit seed. Their cultivations were restored and the seal became nourishment for the heaven-devouring spirit seed. When the heaven-devouring spirit seed returned to Ling Xiao's body, the majestic energy almost broke his Dantian Qi Si open. Ling Xiao's cultivation was still suppressed at LV9 True Energy Realm. He was only one step away from the True Energy Liquid Realm and stepping into the Spirit Transformation Realm. Thank you, Saint. The disciples were surprised. They felt like they had survived a disaster. Their hearts were filled with gratitude towards Ling Xiao. In their hearts, Ling Xiao had become somewhat unfathomable. The seal set by a Grandmaster Realm expert was broken by Ling Xiao so easily. They felt like they were in a dream. It was too unbelievable. Everyone, remember to conceal your aura. Let's go. Ling Xiao waved his sleeves and took the lead to rush out of the mine. Behind him, the spiritual stone's elder and the disciples seemed to have turned into a silent flood as they leaped out at the same time. The tunnels in the spiritual stone's mine extended in all directions. Even the abandoned mines were connected to the mines that were still mining spiritual stones. Ling Xiao led the group and carefully avoided the newly excavated tunnels. Along the way, they rushed out of the ground without any mishaps. After Ling Xiao reached the surface, he didn't even have time to breathe a sigh of relief before he heard a loud voice. "Wang Bo, it's time to change shifts." Two white-robed disciples of the Hehuan sect walked out from another deep mine. They were both at LV2 Spirit Transformation Realm. As soon as they shouted, they felt that something was wrong. They then saw Ling Xiao and a large number of Changsun sect disciples flying out from another abandoned mine. Not good. Ling Xiao's expression changed and he charged out like a bolt of lightning. He condensed two energy swords with his finger and shot them toward the mouths of the two Hehuan sect disciples. At the same time, he punched out with his fists. A majestic aura crushed the heavens and earth. He was like an angry Vajra that was about to use his demon-subduing technique. Ling Xiao cursed in his heart. Wang Bo had actually held back and didn't tell him when the shift would change. As a result, Ling Xiao had just saved the two people when he encountered the Hehuan sect disciples. Ling Xiao didn't hold back at all. He wanted to kill the two of them with one strike. Pooh! Pooh! One of the Hehuan sect disciples had his mouth pierced by Ling Xiao's energy sword. He coughed out blood, but he couldn't say anything. As for the other Hehuan sect disciple, he was very vigilant. He tilted his head, and the chi sword brushed past his ear, cutting off half of his ear. Intense pain came from his mouth, but he still let out a sharp cry. Enemy attack. Boom. Chapter 64. Crack. The chests of the two all-pleasure sect disciples caved in and the crisp sound of bones breaking could be heard. Ling Xiao's punch had directly shattered their internal organs. The two of them didn't even have time to make a sound before they fell to the ground and died. From Ling Xiao's attack to the death of the two disciples at the second level of the spirit transformation realm, it only took a few breaths of time. This scene stunned many of the Changsun sect's disciples and filled their hearts with fanatical worship for Ling Xiao. Elder Spirit Stones, bring the disciples and leave. I'll hold them back for a while. Ling Xiao frowned and said coldly. No. Let me hold them back. You and the disciples leave first. The Holy Sun's identity is precious and can't be taken lightly. Elder Spirit Stones said resolutely. Elder Spirit Stones, you're heavily injured now. How much of your cultivation do you have left? You'll only be a burden if you stay. The Dragon Tiger Realm experts are no match for me. If one comes, one will die. If two come, two will die. Even if the two Master Realm experts attack, they won't be able to harm my life. You guys leave quickly. I can feel that they're coming out. As soon as Ling Xiao finished speaking, he flew out. He lifted up a boulder that weighed more than 100,000 kilograms and smashed it into the entrance of the mine like a meteor, causing the mine to collapse. This scene caused Elder Spirit Stones and the disciples to suck in a breath of cold air. To be able to throw a boulder that weighed more than 100,000 kilograms so casually, could it be that the Holy Sun was the reincarnation of the god of war? Boom! Ling Xiao grabbed a few more huge rocks and completely sealed the entrance of the mine. People from the Changsun sect, you're all dead. This time, I'll exterminate the entire Changsun sect. A cold voice came from the crack of the boulder and a violent attack landed on the boulder. Rumble. The boulder began to tremble. The people in the mine were furious and were crazily attacking the boulder that was blocked by Ling Xiao. Elder Spirit Stones, you guys leave quickly. These boulders won't be able to block us for long. Ling Xiao urged. I'm not leaving. Elder Spirit Stones was very stubborn. He chose a disciple to lead and let him lead the disciples to meet up with the great elder. Although the disciples were all clamoring that they didn't want to leave, they were all chased away by elder spirit stones. Soon, only Ling Xiao and elder spirit stones were left in the spiritual stone mine. Elder, why do you have to do this? Ling Xiao sighed softly. A sharp glint flickered in his eyes as he looked at the trembling boulder. Holy Son, you're not leaving. This old man. If I can kill a few more of those bastards from All Pleasure Sect and Demonic Palace, I'll make a profit. Elder Spirit Elder. Ling Xiao. This is a supreme elixir. Elder Spirit Stones trembled. Although the supreme elixir in his hand was only a lower-grade supreme elixir, it was extremely precious. Even the Changsan sect didn't have many of such supreme elixirs. After all, the great elder was only an upper-grade alchemist. If he wanted to buy a supreme elixir, he would have to pay a huge price to get it from an alchemy master. The spirit stone's elder did not hesitate and swallowed it in one gulp. A majestic energy spread out and turned into 7 warm currents that spread to his limbs. In just a moment, he felt that his injuries had recovered by more than half. What kind of supreme elixir is this? How can it be so magical? Elder Spirit Stones was shocked. 7 Profound Supreme Elixir. It can help a Dragon Tiger Realm expert to break through to the Grandmaster Realm. I made it casually. Ling Xiao said calmly. He used Master Jiao Mu's 7 Profound Supreme Elixir to show off. Holy Son, you're really a genius. Elder Spirit Stones didn't know what to say now. His eyes were full of shock as he exclaimed in admiration. They're coming out. Ling Xiao said with a cold glint in his eyes. Boom. At this moment, the huge rocks blocking the entrance of the mine exploded at the same time. 2 figures with powerful auras rushed out of the mine first. The leader was an old man in a black robe. His eyes were filled with rage, and his body was full of demonic aura. He was an elder of the demonic palace, and his cultivation had reached the 6th level of the Dragon Tiger realm. When the other one saw Ling Xiao, his eyes instantly turned bloodshot, filled with bone-deep hatred. He was Elder Ma Yan of the Hehuan sect. As the saying goes, when enemies meet, their eyes turn red. When Ma Yan saw Ling Xiao, the killing intent that he had suppressed in his heart exploded. You're alone. The old man in the black robe was very cautious. When he saw that Ling Xiao's cultivation was only at the genuine energy realm, a trace of doubt appeared in his eyes. That's right. I alone am enough to deal with a bunch of useless people like you. Ling Xiao said with a cold smile. A group of elders and disciples of the Hehuan sect and the demonic palace appeared behind the 2 old men. They were all glaring at Ling Xiao and Elder Spirit Stones. Little bastard, how dare you behave so atrociously here? Now that Lu Xiongfei and Jiamu are not here, let's see who can save you today. I'm going to crush your bones and scatter your ashes to vent my anger. Ma Yan's eyes were bloodshot as he stared at Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao. He's the holy son of the Changxing sect, Ling Xiao. Brother Ma, don't be rash. They might be lying in ambush around here. The elder of the demonic palace said cautiously as his gaze landed on Ling Xiao. Although this was the first time the demonic palace had seen a peerless genius who could kill a 9th-level spirit transformation realm cultivator at the genuine energy realm, Ling Xiao's name was like thunder to their ears. When such a monster appeared in the Changxing sect, the demonic palace and the Hehuan sect had the same attitude. They would kill him at all costs. You 2 old things, are you afraid? Let me tell you, there's no ambush here. I can kill all of you alone. Ling Xiao said coldly. The longer he delayed, the more time the Changxing sect disciples had to escape. He's stalling for time. Ma Yan's eyes flashed as he shouted, the Changxing sect is the weakest among the 3 sections. How dare the Changxing sect ambush us? This kid is just bluffing. Brother Zhang, I'll kill this little bastard. You take some men and kill the Changxing sect disciples. Don't leave a single one alive. All right. The elder of the demonic palace also thought it through. He led the group of disciples behind him and prepared to charge out of the spiritual stone mine. Elder's spiritual stone, Ma Yan, is mine. I'll leave this old thing to you. Let's see who gets rid of the opponent first. Ling Xiao laughed as he took the lead and charged towards Ma Yan. Kid, you really don't know how high the sky is. This day next year will be the anniversary of your death. Ma Yan's thin and weak body suddenly exploded with a majestic aura. His cultivation of the 4th level of the Dragon Tiger realm was fully displayed. He stretched out both his palms, and a vast amount of vital energy gushed out. The rocks around him were all shattered into dust by the force of his palms. Mystic Peerless Martial Art, Little Yin Yang Palm. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.